Da-da-da-da. That song is in my head. Okay, and we're good with that. And we're good with it. Why is this not staying? Stay! There we go. Not you, Bear. You're fine. It's the green screen behind you. Or the blue screen? Never. There we go. Okay, you're fine. Bear, you don't need to move. I love you. Needy little pup. Alright. And we're good. Hello, 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 everybody. I am feeling much better, and so is Bear. Not that Bear was feeling bad, but he's getting pet, so he very much is feeling better. Actually, I think even he had allergies on Monday. Both my wife, me, and Bear were like sneezing and stuffed up that entire day. And I have no idea why, but I am back. This should be a normal screen. A normal stream in length. So, let's see. Wait, is this the right resume? There might be... Hold on. Did I do this last resume? I did do that resume. Okay. Cool. So this is the right one. But how is everybody doing? Normal stream, you must have Wolverine powers. Dude, I wish. Like, I feel like my family does have that because we are all, like, both unhealthy and very long-lived. Like, my grandfather had a myriad of ailments and lived to 92. And my father, almost passed away, from unknown diabetes, and he was in such a crazy thing, and now he's back healthy and normal again. So I don't know what it is, because we get sick all the time, but we recover very well. So, and that's just kind of a family trait. Same with my mother. Hey, Rugo, I am much better now. Monday was rough for the whole house. Even Bear was like sniffling on Monday, and I don't even know why. Like, what would give both two humans and a dog allergies? My neighbor's mom is 91, walking and talking like it's easy. I hope I can do that at that age. So, let's see. No, there we go. That's good. But yeah, and then I'm currently sourcing from another role. I've got people lined up I'm talking to. So things are good. Things are down normal because there's no like week of 4 marriages, because I had my friend's marriage. Then in 3 weeks from that, it was my marriage. And then over that weekend, we drove to Colorado for another marriage, her wedding, and then back. So things are now actually stabilizing in this household. And I had one of my judo tests on Tuesday, which I think I passed. I mean, it's only for like a white belt thing, so it's not like, you know, crazy. Have you thought about an air purifier? We do not sleep well, but an air purifier might be a good idea. That might work. But as a household, we don't sleep well. Except Bear, he naps like a champ. So, alright, what am I looking at? Oh my goodness gracious, this is so much. This is like 12 paragraphs. Oh no, this is, hold on. Holy crud. There's so much on this page. Whoa, bro. Okay, you put so much stuff. This might be too much information. Okay, okay, hold on. Can I even copy paste all this? Copy paste. Let me make sure there's nothing incriminating here. No, there's not. Whoa, okay. Let's not break my stuff. So yeah, this person wrote, this is all my stuff that I need to clear out, but this person wrote all of this. So, there was a lot. Alright, so this is my second submission. Any bolding in it? Right? No, this isn't even the resume. This is just the stuff they said before the resume to me. I don't know if you can bold it on my website. That might actually be a thing. I don't know if you can. But yeah, so thank you for reviewing the first. I've been kept the highlights but focused on the few mentioned as impactful. Kept a career break because it was a planned break. I mean, that doesn't really matter. This idea is something continuously highlight to during interviews. Because I was to account director. After 50 years, I felt the day similar drove to take an upskill break. So searching descriptions and working with GB limited keywords below that were incorporated in my resume. You know, I do wonder if ChatGPT is... No, this is just what they sent me. This isn't even the resume. This is just the note they sent me. Because, which I guess people can't super see, but every time you submit a resume, you send me a little note in case I need it. And a lot of time it doesn't have context, like, you know, I just started applying, so I don't really have a ratio, or these job titles will work. But this is all what this person has done. Oh boy. Okay, so if I do that, I now I'm looking to pursue a new industry away from loyalty programs, so they want to go into SaaS, I think. Given the additional information. Okay. Jeez Louise. Okay, so that there wasn't really much there I could actually use. So that was that was what I had to read. I don't know. Maybe a lot. But I need to get the keywords for this, which is a customer success director / manager, which I don't think I have off the top of my head. Customer, no. So. But yeah, that was a lot. All right, Rachel, please let this be a good job description. So who you are and what you'll bring and what you'll be doing. Just please say qualifications, but at least these are actual. Wait, are they? Oh, did you hear that Nanko's is a software interview today? Yeah, she does. I was on her chat yesterday because I was sourcing. I like going into her chat when I source, because sourcing is sort of a, you don't, once you get, like, you need to do pre-work for it, which you really need to concentrate and think for, but once you have the Boolean set and you know what you're looking for, you can kind of turn your mind off. So I was doing that in listening, and I don't know if I'm the one that got her that. I hope I am, but she did improve the resumes, but I know she has an interview today, and I really, really hope she gets it. So, although I think it's an intern, which I feel like she's got more skills than an intern, but again, I don't know enough about her background. So, influence at all levels. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes. I may pop by in her chat after this. We'll see. I got a lot of work to do. I've been calling and basically like VPs and CEOs and big managers for a role I'm working on. Which, if you know, by the way, which this is why I haven't really said in chat, is I don't think I have anybody that would fit the qualifications. But if you specifically have microbial fermentation experience and have done VP-like skills or high-level managers and would like to move, you can message me. I actually got a lot of people that are interested, but that is the current rec I'm working on. So. Ooh, nice. How did it go? What is the process at Amazon? I really do want to know, because everybody asks me, like, how do I get into Fang? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't work with Fang. I don't know that. Is their interview process different? Is it the same? I assume it's mostly the same, but I don't want to say stuff that I don't know. Influence, so that is stakeholders, customers, clients. Yeah, how did it go? Tech savvy, operator, initiative strategy. That's not a very good. Wait, director, is client success the same as customer success? I hope it is. They have a link. If I am allowed, I can post it. Yeah, you can post a link. That's fine. And fair 2 behavioral in the coding challenge, grading me in the first one. Okay, front end engineer prep. Cool. Because I feel like Fang's recruitment processes are slightly different than most others, just because they're so well known that they don't need to necessarily do the same things. But I don't know that for a fact. And yeah, this looks cool. Neat. Okay. Coding resource. Oh, they even give you resources to do it? This is actually kind of nice. This is very streamlined, so they tell you exactly what's going to be there. Oh, I love that. I wish more companies could do that specifically for software stuff. That's really neat. Congrats. Okay, that's fair. It probably is like that. That is why I could not go back to schools. I did not like it. I did well. I got like a 3.2, but it broke me mentally. I don't like those tests. I don't like those things. I thrive under different types of pressure. I recently got a referral from a friend. Hopefully will get me a chance. Good. I hope it does. Referrals are, you know, again, I'm teaching people the third best way to get a job. The first is know the hiring manager. The second is know somebody who knows the hiring manager. Those are the best two ways to get a job. So written and verbal, it does say influence at all levels. That was the second time. So I'm assuming this would be industry knowledge, managing projects, bachelor. Well, they did say education, so excuse me. So how you solved problems, I would say, which is very vague. I'm not the biggest fan of that question. Senior Director, Customer Success at Equifax. I assume that is a pretty high up position. What you'll need, 7 years of client-facing roles, specifically customers, clients, and stakeholders. They say more clients than customers, but they're kind of the same thing. So multi-divisional, so I guess this would be specifically for Director. What would it be? How much you managed in volume. Director level. That's like different sites, which is actually kind of related to the role I'm, because they want somebody that can manage most of different sites. Let's see, strategic customer success, director of Exxon. All right. SaaS, yeah, SaaS is probably going to be it. Metrics, cross-functional. Demonstrate related tasks. This is a bit of the problem with director levels, is they're a little bit different than the others, and I really got to get better at director level resumes. Done a coding assessment for software. Went out of my league. Couldn't do the algo questions and scenario questions. What is a question on those? Because like I've been on the other end and I've had candidates like pass or fail, but I do not know what's in those. So cross-functional is right. That seems to be correct, but I would say it's how you solved problems and how much you managed in volume. Let's see, is there anything else I'm missing? It doesn't super look like it. This is sort of the broad spectrum. Cross-functional, yeah. Cross-functional is definitely it. That dig into customers. So yeah, I would say specifically how you solve problems and why you did that. How and why, because I feel like that's important. So, okay, that should be good. Yeah, directors can kind of get away with these. So, okay. That's good. This person has a 50-1, which is better, I think, than the last one they had. All right, and then templates. Let me just put this up so I don't forget my little speech at the beginning. I need to do my speech. Okay, and good, and good. This is 1 to 50, and now I will remember to press record. I am the Headless Headhunter, a corporate recruiter here to review your resumes to get you ahead of your job search. So, the very first person we have up is a customer success director / manager. This person wrote me a lot of stuff in the little notes about their resume, and I cannot go over all of that. But essentially they are looking to switch industries from their current one to SaaS. If I read this right, there is a big old wall of text here, but I would always prefer more information than less. So, What we're going to be looking for is influence at all levels for a customer success director and manager. Specifically, this is how you got stuff done, right? Like if you went to a meeting and you said, person stakeholder, Bob McBoberson, you're our stakeholder, here's what we need to get done, here's how to do it. And Bob was like, you go, you do it right. That's what we need. So I need to know that you can essentially influence, which is basically getting your will done, making your will manifest, from stakeholders to customers and clients. Customers and clients are kind of the same thing. That you have industry knowledge. Industry knowledge is going to be specific. I think in this case it's going to be SaaS, but this is again going to matter. Like, you know, if you're going into the healthcare industry, you would know healthcare stuff. So industry, which I assume, like I said, I think is SaaS. Education, how you solved problems and why you did that. This is arguably one of the most important parts. Is your job as a director is to essentially be proactive and keep the company away from bad stuff that happens. Now, that could be you need to hire more people. It could be there's something wrong with the company, but you need to solve problems. And you need to be very, very specific about how you did that. You can't just say, I solved a problem. You have to go into detail. And then the next one, and this is more important for a director than a manager, but basically like how many people you manage. Did you hire them? Did you fire them? Did you have the potential to hire and fire? If you're going for any management position, you really want to have the words hired, fired, and did performance reviews. Nobody likes firing. Firing is not good, but it is something a manager may need to do. And this is where I want to know sort of the nuts and bolts of your job. Like, did you manage 28 people cross-functionally? You know, that kind of stuff. Which, again, leads us to the next thing, which is cross-functional. That word is everywhere, ironically, but it is something you should have. So this is more going to tell a little bit of a story about how you solved problems, less so than individual keywords themselves. That's kind of the difference between an IC, which is a non-management resume, and a higher level manager director. So if you all want your resume reviewed, please send them below. It's in the link. It's free. And if you need more help, stop by my Twitch chat Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/Headless Headhunter. Hit that bell, I think they say, like and subscribe, and let's review this resume. So this is their second attempt, and this one is better, I think, than the previous one. So already we can see a little bit of success. Their ratio is 1 to 50, which is 50 applications to 1 interview, which is not bad, not great, but not bad. So let's dig into it. Right. 100% customer retention and a success. So here's the sort of the problem with this one. Highlights are not bad for directors because their level of experience is pretty big. The problem is how you wrote these is a little off. So in previous videos, I say, I don't care about your metrics. And I think I need to explain that a little bit better because that was on me. It's not that you can't have metrics. It's not that you can't have percent increases, but you need to use them sparingly. They need to be sort of rare on your resume. Maybe like 1 or 2 in the entire resume of those types of like percentages. And those percentages need to be understandable by somebody that basically a toddler. You need to go to a toddler and be like, this is what I did and this is why it's impressive. And if a toddler could understand, if a 5-year-old could go like, oh, I get it, then that's a good bullet point specifically on a metric. Otherwise, it's not. And 100% customer retention and 95% customer satisfaction score for 15 million software as a service profile is okay. Also, you should put this in parentheses after that and put SaaS just in case they don't know what SaaS stands for. It could happen. But then you immediately also go into another one. So this one is okay, but I don't even like starting off with this. So I would really say something like, 100% customer retention and satisfaction, because you have both. This one I'm okay as, but this is, so we're going to leave the top one here. This one, I don't know if you need. I like the in net revenue raw 7 managers, but I don't like too many percentages. So I would keep 1 percentage here. I do like the 15 million software as a service. And this is okay, but I need more information. So don't overdo it with the percentages. Like, seriously, there should only be about maybe 2 to 3 in your resume. Directors can get away with a little bit more. maybe like 4 to 5, but don't overdo it with those metrics. They're gonna essentially make the recruiter or hiring manager themselves go and not understand it. So these are okay, but they could be better. Engage with 20 plus founders and managers, executive studies, cross-functional, to study leadership and customer advocacy, branching stakeholder engagement. It's not bad, but again, you don't tell me how you did this. Specifically for directors, the how is more important than the what. For IC roles, you can kind of get away with saying used blank to do Y, but for higher level roles, you have to explain the reasoning behind why you did it, why it was important. Customer management through targeted learning and cybersecurity, published Myers-Briggs indicator. I hate Myers-Briggs test personally, but that's I'm not holding that against you. I just don't like it. Gaining experience. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't think this is a bad sentence. It's mid and you can do more, but the rest of this I don't really need for a career break, because I don't know how you did this. What do you mean you engaged with 20 founders? Did you go to a meeting of different founders and wave at them and that was it? I don't know enough information. So if you keep this, I would keep only really the first one. The rest of this, I don't know if it's really necessary for your resume. So now we go to the actual work experience. Also, your education should probably be up top. Again, directors can kind of get away with it, but they did require an education, and that is a requirement, and all the requirements should be in the top half of the resume. So, yeah. So transform customer engagement strategy through a customer first model. What does that mean? Improving customer health scores. What is a customer health score? I don't know. And securing 100% renewals for the company's $5 billion software. This is great. I like this. This part I like, although admittedly it's kind of here. In fact, if anything, I think you could kind of just keep this right here and copy paste it to here instead. So instead of 100% retention and 90% satisfaction, just say secured 100% renewables for the companies, or we want to start off with the SaaS. So for our company's 15 million B2B software as a service portfolio, parentheses, SaaS, I secured X amount, 100% of renewals. So that's sort of how you want to write that. You don't want to start off with the number. Enhance customer relationship management workflows by optimizing usage. But see, I don't know why Monday.com usage is important, and I didn't see that in any of the keywords. But improving time and account management is okay. This one, again, improving, you could even say which improved our customer service score year over year. But I'd still like to know a little bit more. This is too vague. Owned customer life cycles across onboarding and customer value through cross-functional collaboration. This one's fine. I like this, but I also need to know that you've met with clients and how you've got stuff done. So is this bad? No. I think the fact that it's getting 1 in 50 is showing that it's okay, but I think it could be a lot better. And specifically for directors and high-level managers, you have to be specific. It's kind of like going on a date and the other person, you would say, what do you like? And the other person says, I like music. And you say, okay, what kind of music? And they say, music. Most people like music. Well, there are some people that don't like music. Most people do. You need to be specific, saying like, I like chiptunes and remixes of video games along with 80s rock. That's fine. That gives us something. You need to give us something. You need to be specific. So directed a 7-member regional, because managing in a portfolio and finance delivering. See, here's my problem with this, and this is why I'm not a huge fan of most of this up here, even if it's mid. This is a phenomenal sentence, but it's entirely possible that no one will get to it. This right here is the most important part of your resume, which is the first half. Admittedly, the first half after your education, because typically recruiters just go check and then move past it. But this is the most important part, and I have to scroll all the way down here to get basically the best sentence in the whole thing. And I know this review is getting a little longer, but I think people want me to yap a little bit more, so I'm going to try to do that. Let me know if y'all like that. But this is a good bullet point. Directed a 7-member, shows us how many. Customer success team. Managing shows us the budget, and it shows us the industry and finance, technology, and multinationals. Delivering a 39% year-over-year growth in net revenue. That's great. You do want to put year-over-year and then put parentheses in case the person reading it doesn't know YOY is year-over-year, which, again, never assume the person knows your acronym. But this is a great bullet point. I want you to write the rest of it like this. Translated pain points into actionable insight, empathy, and problem solving led development points platform, company revenue. Yeah, these are phenomenal. Like, these are great. This stuff is holding you back. I love this. I absolutely love this. So yeah, this is kind of your big problem is this stuff is mid and it's written mid. It just does not give me enough information. But down here are two very good bullet points right here. These are phenomenal. I want you to rewrite the rest of these like this. This is what I'm looking for. So does this pass? Yeah, again, 1 in 50. It's okay. It's like a C-, could be better. But I want to make sure you get even more success. So let's go to the next resume. That was a very long review. How long was that? Was it like 10 minutes for one? It was, is this going to tell me? 11 minutes, my goodness. Okay. Which I hope is good. I don't know how much people want me to just sort of yap about the process on the YouTube. I know that's kind of the point of the Twitch channel, but I don't know if I should be yapping that much or if it should be more to the point. So I'm going to try a more yap-focused video, but I don't know if that is what people want, because I could do both of those. It doesn't really matter to me. So, why does this always itch? Why is it always this part? Nothing else that this doesn't itch, this does. It's always under my nose. This infuriates me. I lotion it, I use stuff to it, and it's specifically this. Ooh, Cloud Engineer is next. Do I have Cloud Engineer? I think I do. I did a Cloud Engineer before. Did I save it? Cloud Administrator. Oh, I did, except I didn't write anything in it. Okay, cool. Well, right now I am going to save a director, because I actually kind of like this as a director level just in general, and most director is kind of similar. They really do want the same things, which is how you solve the problem, the details, and this person has good bullet points. They're buried. Which is honestly like the biggest problem is people will do something right and then panic because it didn't immediately work and then make it worse. But like if the rest of this was written like this, I'd like that. So okay, so I don't have Cloud Engineer. Let's look it up. Did I spell engineer wrong? Every time I have the worst spelling. I mean, I know that's because I'm dyslexic, but still, I despise writing stuff. I just want everybody to know that. I know a lot of what I do is written. I don't like writing stuff. It's not my favorite thing. If I can get away with doing it verbally rather than writing, I will, like 90% of the time. So specifically Cloud Engineer. What else did they need? System Administrator, wanting to pursue a Cloud Engineer, DevOps, Software Engineer, backend role. Those are all different. My system admin looks like this as well, and recently got laid off, so I'm applying to system admin. Those are all different roles. Why? You need to give me one. All right. Geez. So what is cloud? I mean, I should probably have a Cloud Engineer. When I talk about my experience, they definitely come out different from my notes. It just feels better. Yeah, I agree. I don't think I communicate well all the time writing wise, because a lot of the times people think I'm being mean, and I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to make it legible. So I always have to strike the balance of, is my tone coming across right, which it usually doesn't. So I almost always prefer to hop into a call rather than, even if it's like 5 minutes, then a quick email or text. So that has nothing to do with the spelling, which I absolutely hate spelling. So DevOps engineer is different. Okay, this is not a good job description. minimum core benefits. Oh boy, these are not great. So, is Cloud Engineer the same as that? Hey, Ink, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome, and thank you for subscribing with for 2 months. I appreciate it. Wow, it has been a bit. It has been a little bit. I'm very happy you are here. And my goal is to make it so that people can get jobs, which I think I do. I haven't checked my testimonials in a bit, but I know people randomly put more on there, which is what it's for. So how are you doing? I am pontificating too much. Brain. I was just sourcing for so long, and doing a lot of sourcing just like breaks my brain. Figuring out resumes now, hard time to get enough keywords in each job description. It is, and even when you know the key and the secret, which I don't even like saying it like that, it's kind of hard. Like, it's not easy. Like, even with my own, I would need people to double check, and it's hard to take your own advice, and that's true across like a lot of different industries. Like, lawyers will not represent themselves, and recruiters will typically not recruit for roles they themselves are hiring for. They typically outsource it so that you can get a third-party opinion. So I understand that it can be difficult. Data flow. Data engineers. My brain just shut down for a second. I've been doing so much sourcing. Look at all those profiles, it's kind of mindless. Because the way you want to do sourcing, and not that this is related to anybody, because I don't think you're going to be recruiting for this stuff, but essentially you need to make sure that your Boolean search gets a good pool of candidates. And then once you have that pool of candidates, and that Boolean search part takes a lot of brain power, then you kind of just have to go through all of them, and it just takes a while, and there's no like special secret. You just have to double check, then copy paste your template that you use to message people, and then do that, and then wait a couple of days to see how it works out. Which is why everybody needs templates. I can't imagine doing it without templates. It would slow me down so much. There's so much paperwork in recruiting. Like, there's really a lot more than people think. Yeah, you do get to call people and talk with people, but most of it is paperwork. Excuse me. Cloud engineer. Also, if you wanted to post a sentence or two, Ink, I could tell you how to put some keywords in it. Are you working full-time or contractor? I mean, trying to work full-time. It's my own company, and I got my first commission this month, so from a placement I did in December. So I am profitable for this year. But yeah, I'm doing a bunch of stuff, but it's kind of hunting for contract, kind of. I don't know how to really describe it, because like I'm hunting for clients, let me say that. Like, the recruiting stuff is good, but hunting for clients. Yeah. So it is my own, and I have made enough, at least, that from the placement, that I am good for the year, but I don't want to stop. Stopping would be a bad idea. So I am going to be profitable for this year. We will see about the other stuff. I should be able to fill this role I'm currently working on, but I only got it like Friday-ish or Thursday, and I wasn't able to start working on it till the weekend, so we're gonna find out. But it's specifically when you're doing recruiting, it takes a very long time. Even when everything is going well, it's what you do now is not going to have an effect for like 3 months later. So I'm sending out the stuff now, assuming it works well. They get interviews, they get hired maybe a month later, a month and a half. then there's a 3-month clawback on the contract, and then maybe their start date gets pushed up a little bit because that's normal. So if I say for the role now, assuming I place somebody today, which realistically is not, it's not that fast, I wouldn't get paid for about 4 to 5 months. So when you're, most of what I tell people here is specifically for internal. I am currently an external recruiter, but I've done internal recruitment. And when you're doing internal recruitment, most people are going to find that. So that is what most people are going to deal with, is internal recruiters. When you are sourcing specifically, and I have taught other recruiters a bit about this, it's a little bit different. You kind of need to have an idea of the candidate and a large amount of keywords so that you can hit a lot of people, and then after that find them, put them into a list if they meet like a couple of qualities. It's very much a yes or no. You can't let your bias affect it. And like sometimes when I used to do it, I was like, oh, you know, they did X, so probably isn't. You can't think that way. You have to make an entire list of those things and then yes and no. So like currently I'm searching for people that are around VP level, but GMs could work. And I have to like look at after they come up in the search, I say, they've showed up in the search, so they have one of the keywords that I want. Then I need to make sure they are the right seniority level, or alternatively, close to the seniority level. And then you can find out in the actual call. Why is my beard so itchy? Mustache, why? Why? What did I do wrong? Pay structure, is that the industry standard? It's about, so let's say I placed you, Uber, today, right? I placed you today. There is on average, assuming for a full-time role, because contracting is different. For a full-time role, if I placed you now, I would make between 15 and 35% of your base salary for that year. Or what it would be. That does not include bonuses or anything. It's just your flat salary. And then based on how high that commission is, there would be a clawback in case you are fired or leave, but not laid off before 2 to 3 months. And I would have to pay it back. And that is industry standard. How much you make based on those is going to vary, but there is usually a 2 to 3 month clawback after start date. And it triggers on start date too. So like if I placed you if you accepted the offer today and your start date wasn't for 2 months, I would need to wait 5 months before I could collect. And that is industry standard. For agency, non-contract. Contractors are a little bit different. That one, it's just if you work those hours, you get it. Yeah, you really can't. That's why I placed it in December, and there was a clawback for 3 months, so you wait, you do not touch it until then. Some companies, if they like you, instead of taking the money back, they'll ask you to fill the position. But usually if a candidate leaves for some of those reasons, it does not look good. That's why you really want them to stay, not just for the clawback, but because it looks, you know, if the people you place leave immediately, then that doesn't bode well for you as a recruiter. All right, I will do that in a second. I don't know if I could find the keywords for this, because DevOps is going to be a little bit different. But I think I might. I will give Bear a treat in a second. I gave him some Cheez-Its earlier today, and he was very happy. Or yesterday, Brain. DevOps. Okay, so slightly different. This is closer to what I've been looking for. Now, did this person say DevOps engineer? I'm just getting I've been very distracted lately, and there's not really a good reason. So, but there we go. Okay, we can use this for DevOps, because I think it's been a bit since I've done DevOps. We can do DevOps if needed. Oh, this is yours. Okay, cool. Not this one. The next one. Brain. Is it yours? It's the... Let me pull it up. I didn't actually pull it up yet. This one. This one is yours? Dalen? Then if so, this will make it easier. So first off, let me give Bear a treat. So he's in his favorite position, which is under the bed. Okay, cool. That makes it easier. Yeah, I know. Oh, we're gonna have to get you some more treats, buddy. All right, sit. All right. Touch. Oh shoot, what was the command for the? Okay, that's my bad, Bear. I don't remember. All right, stay, stay, stay. Go get it. Good boy. Is it possible to overfeed Bear? No, I set a limit per stream. I am gonna keep him healthy. And yes, but baby is so cute. He is going to be a healthy dog. He is 11 years old, and I make sure he is not overfed. So, yeah, my wife trained him very well. That was all my wife's job. She trained them all. He trained them before I met him. So yeah, I had a rescue Rottweiler once named and I really love that dog, but his previous owners overfed him, and he had cancer, and they could not operate because his kidneys were shutting down because of the overfeeding. So I will not lose another dog to that. And I know that wasn't me who did that, but still. So I will make sure he is healthy. So he has a limit of treats. Isn't that right, Bear? I think it's 4 to 5 a stream, because he's a big dog. He's 100 pounds, and he's fine with that amount. So yeah, no Tamagotching the dog. So Bear, you can go. I know the room, have a friend staying here, and he's downstairs. You can go see him. So I am always very cautious about overfeeding dogs. And he is very healthy for 11 years old. Or 10 and a half right now. Turning 11. My wife knows more. But yeah, he's good and he's healthy. He's an old man, and we're going to keep him here as long as we can. So. But you can thank my wife, who is Rosie D, which she stops by every now and then for the training. If you want, you move this to after 12:30, since I have an interview in 45 minutes. I can do it right. You know what? Yeah, let's do that for your interview. Also, congrats on the interview. Congrats. Yeah, we'll do this after. How would you indicate a promotion? So promotions are kind of weird. Let's just use this. Yeah, just let me know when you're back, and I will do that. So this formatting. Typically, it's going to look a little in the formatting, but you can kind of put it under the same one. So you can do... Can I even fix this in time? Shoot. Okay. So you would put, like, Senior Systems Administrator, 2022 to 2025. Like, right above it is usually. So, yeah. Everybody wish him good luck on the interview in 45 minutes. But typically you would put it right above it, and it just flows a little better. So it would be like Senior System Administrator, and then you can also, if you want, instead of this, like if you got promoted to Manager, you can put like brackets where it's like Senior Manager, Systems Administrator, like here, and then under that you can then do the title and then what it was. It's hard for me to verbally explain that, but if you see it, it looks clear. We've seen it 1 or 2 times where it's just right above it. And it really does depend when it is and what role you got. All right, so this is Dalen D4 Lynn, which I'm mispronouncing. Oh no, an embedded software engineer, the kind that I never write down and I keep forgetting. Shoot. Okay, cool. Why? I need to put on like lotion or something. I don't know why it's itchy. I put on lotion under my nose and it's still itchy. I despise my mustache sometimes, and I don't know why it's doing this. No other part is. That's the part that gets me, because this part is not itchy. This part is not itchy. None of this is itchy. It's just this right here. This little teeny thing right below my nose is always itchy. And I have to like struggle not to do anything, because I guess I'm like ticklish or something. All right, well, that was the least professional thing I've said in a while, but embedded... Is there an embedded software engineer here in the chat? I keep forgetting to mark down the keywords for this, and I want to make sure I get it right, because I don't want to mess it up, and I think the embedded one is the one I haven't done much. Because I'm assuming embedded is going to be different than the other, like, back-end, front-end stuff. So, embedded software engineer. Maybe? The problem is they don't call them embedded. Here it is. For Boston Dynamics. You are right, it is C. I think this is more like an engineering thing than a... Like, it's the software for, like, engineering stuff, right? Whoop, so teeny. But yeah, I have not done this role before. This is one of the ones I don't think I've done. Like, I've done, like, a power engineer once, but I don't think I've done a embedded software engineer. If I did, I do not remember it. I've seen the other roles programming, like, hardware. Yeah, from my understanding, which may be wrong and probably is in this case, it's like they do the software for the machines and, like, your car stereos and stuff. So, like, if your car had a touchscreen, they would be the one to actually write that code. That's what I think it is. Not just cars, but, like, the software for the robots. C is lower level, is what is used for microcontrollers. Go, they're not over-specialized. How is the job market for tech in this time? I said better than last year. We're in a slight bump, it looks like, but it's still not good. I mean, there's still a bunch of layoffs. I think it's slightly better than I thought it was. Is it better than last year? I don't know. I will be honest with you. I don't think so. I think last year was better. My other neighbor is an engineer at a farm, and he mentioned added mini computers in a Java program. Ooh, that's neat. Control systems... Yeah, sensors, cameras, radars, IMUs, which I don't even... Yeah, Microsoft did lay off 3% of their company, and probably there are going to be others that do the same, because I think we're hitting the tariff stuff. CF Career Association says people are getting jobs, but yeah, it might be a little bit better. I don't think so. I think... It still feels bad to me, and I don't know how to say this, but based on everything, I think we have seen a slight uptick in the last month or two, which is not normal, but I think we're going to really see what's going to happen in 2 months from now, because the job market is so weird. That's why you can't predict the job market more than like 3 weeks, and at best, at least for me, but... You know, I do wonder if it's specifically people are now trying to go back because they tried, like, AI for stuff, but I don't think it's better than last year, although admittedly it might just not be in tech, so it might be tech itself is improved, but I don't know that much about it, so maybe tech is better. I don't think the overall market is better. Yeah, found better. Yeah, those generic ones, yeah. These publicly traded companies do layoffs to fluff their numbers. Probably. Especially with the ISO. Here we go. Alright, so I'm not going to put down all of these ISOs because there's a bunch of different ones. But these are industry standard operating things. I forgot the acronym. Technical efforts, software engineer, identity qualifier. So C, C++. C sharp, anything with C. Is there a C minus? Like, there's a C sharp. Is there a C flat? That was it, C flat. I mean, tech, because they might have already corrected from COVID. Yeah, there is a C plus, yes, but I don't want to. No. There's a D and Zic. I hate software engineering terms are dumb. I'm sorry. They're so dumb. They're just random words and letters. At least OO stands for operating... I forgot the word. There's so many acronyms. So many darn acronyms. Let's see. Agile, Scrum... There's a pawn language. Is it like chess? Object oriented. Yes, that is it. No, you're right. OO is object oriented. I knew that one and I blanked. Object oriented. The problem though is they did not write it as object oriented. They I spelled that so wrong. They wrote it as OO. Because you can never just never assume they know your acronyms ever, including recruitment. Like, I even recommend to other recruiters to put applicant tracking system instead of ATS. Well, applicant tracking system, and then in brackets put ATS. Let's see, embedded software, these are good job descriptions, I will say. Okay, I need my coders here to let me know, what is the weirdest language y'all have ever heard of in coding? Like, what is the weirdest name? Hugging Face might be it for me. I cannot take that name seriously. So this is troubleshooting software hardware. I mean, that's so broad. And then electrical schematics. Embedded Marvel Infotech. They're not related to... No, they're not. It's like, are they related to the movies? And this is really going to be where they go, but... Ugh, that formatted poorly. Electronic board, that's what I was looking for. I mean, Rust because its mascot is a crab, but it's named after a fungus. What? No. Rust, like the thing that happens to metal, is named after a fungus, but its mascot is a crab? What? What? Why is Rust not named after what happens to metal? Okay, that now wins. I need someone to explain that to me. This hurts my head. It hurts my soul. Maybe the fungus kills the metal? Maybe, I don't know. No! Just wrote down the stuff and I misclicked. Darn it. Okay. And then electrical board. Rust has been said to be named after a particularly robust type of fungus. That's so bad. Oh, I hate that. I hate everything about that. I don't like Rust anymore. I had no opinion on it as a language because I would not recognize it, but now I don't like it. I actively dislike it. Alright, let's do this. Schematics. I misspelled schematics. Alright. This is... They didn't tell me anything, but it should be okay. This is wrong formatting. This is the resume that we're looking at right now, and this is for an embedded software engineer. So for an embedded software engineer, this is not an exhaustive list of keywords. Realistically, you may have to break it down a little bit more into like what type of software or embedded software engineering you're doing. Like, are you making car stuff? Are you making airplane stuff? Which would be aerospace. That's the word. I've worked in aerospace. So some, but again, not all of what we're going to be looking for is C, C++, C#, also Python. I should have added Python. IEC or ISO. ISO is essentially like industry standard. Typically it is followed by like, I think a 5-digit number. I'm not going to, as long as I see the word ISO, that's fine. Then stuff like sensors and cameras and lidars, radars and IMUs. And I don't even know what an IMU or lidar is. OO, which is object-oriented, Linux, RTOS, Agile, Scrum, troubleshooting software, hardware, electrical schematics, ADC, and DAC and electronic boards. So the market for this is really good. I will be honest, you may be able to have a terrible resume as an embedded software engineer and still get a job. That's okay, and more power to you. This person has a 1 to 25 ratio, so I'm expecting, I mean, it's an embedded software engineer. I'm expecting they exist and they're in the right area. So let's look to see if we can find some of these keywords, but you know, it's an embedded software engineer. It might not actually matter, but hopefully I can find a couple. So embedded software engineer in software, firmware, hardware, machine learning, and test automation. Not a huge fan of these again, but whatever. It's not a huge deal. But you do say you have a security clearance. The problem here is this security clearance is very small. What I would do is move your education up top, and then above that little section in the education, so here, just put security clearance, and then put status active. And then technical skills, again, I'm not a huge fan of these. I think they should be in the bullet points, but probably doesn't matter for an embedded software engineer, because that market is very good. So develop C code for bare metal. C is good. I/O, I2C, front panel controls to customers, develop a Python script to large identifying source files, automated creation in a library with make files, message library, test. That's some of these are good. Again, these are not an exhaustive list of keywords. It's going to be broken down even more. But then we have FPGA, which I think I did see and I wasn't able to write down. There's so many keywords for this. So yeah, it's okay. I think the formatting could be a little clearer, but you do see Scrum. I do see a little bit of that stuff. I see C. I see what you're actually sort of making. So that's good. So yeah, I think it just maybe fix the formatting a little bit. You might have a 1 in 15, but it may not matter. Again, if your industry is phenomenal, your resume doesn't matter as much. So, and this is probably the case of it doesn't matter as much, but I still maintain the fact that you should have your education up at the top, especially here because your current active security clearance may not be visible, and it's possible in this wall of text they may miss it. So if you do nothing else, I would make this more visible because an active security clearance is beneficial. So just make this clearer to see and fix up a little bit of the rest of the formatting, and you should have even more of a better ratio than you have now. So let's go to the next resume. And there was a glorious time in 2020 to 2021 where it was everybody was hiring recruiters left and right. And then that market immediately crashed. But still, this is probably a very good market. And I'm going to double check this by looking at this. Let's see, this is 2 days ago, easy apply, 5 hours ago, easy apply. It's not as bad as I thought, actually. Or not as good as I thought, but this person is getting it. And it's really hard because I think this is specifically one of those, like, really depends on what part of the industry you're doing. Let's see, easy apply, 9 minutes ago to applicants. This is not enough. So, well, yeah, it's not bad. I assume they would have actual keywords that they would be looking for. Because, again, it's really going to depend on what they're doing within that. So, because all of these were different. So if I did this for real and I spoke with the manager, I could get those keywords. Just not something I could easily get in a vacuum, which is a flaw of the system that I use, and I just don't know how to fix that. Because, yeah, I have no idea. Because I don't have direct contact to the manager, and that would change a lot of stuff. And this is a project manager, not a product. Project manager. All right, here we go. We have a thing Any hiring manager streamers? No, because hiring managers hate hiring. That's the little known fact, is hiring managers despise hiring. It's really not a job title. It's something they are forced to do. So there wouldn't really be, because it would be highly subjective. And again, I really, for embedded, I need to talk to somebody in the industry, but hiring managers themselves are not always great for advice, because by the time they see it, it's usually curated, and if it's not, they sometimes can make mistakes. Yeah, just someone who had that seniority. If I did it for real, I would, like, how I get the keywords for real is like a long process. I don't just be like, aha, 5 minutes. So that is accurate. Ink is very right. Hiring managers can be your manager. So but yeah, nobody likes hiring. Recruiters are the oddballs. Nobody likes it. Nobody works with us unless they're forced to, and I'm aware of that fact. So, hold on. I just need to check, see if I got a message. I have to respond to this person. Okay, cool. Later. I can do that after the stream. But yeah, hiring managers can be your manager. Nobody likes hiring. That's, like, even internally, people typically don't like recruiters. I don't want to say, like, they hate us, but, like, they don't want to work with us if they can't help it. I ended most of my things with managers with, hey, glad I got you that hire. I hope you never have to see me again. And they went, I agree. If I do have to see somebody, I want it to be you, but I hope I never do. We are essentially the dentists of the corporate world, in that we are needed, and nobody wants to, like, but you only go there when you're in a lot of pain. So we're kind of like dentists of the corporate world. Is you only go when you have a really bad ache and you don't want to do it, and you're glad the dentist you worked with helped you and they made it as painless as possible. But even a great dentist, it's still gonna hurt. So recruiters are the dentists of the corporate world. That is my view. Obviously, we don't have the medical training, but, you know, because no one wants to get their teeth drilled, even if the person drilling the teeth is highly competent. Okay, stretching, and then I'm ready. All right, this person has a have a gap on my resume due to a layoff while pregnant. Mazel tov on the pregnancy. Took time off again and began job hunting in January. Would like to target project manager roles, but not AAA studios, and interviews have been few and far between. Okay. Yeah, again, the gap isn't huge. I don't see between... I don't even see it. Excuse me. I don't even see where this is a gap. Oh, here it is. Yeah, that's like nothing. That's like nothing of a gap. Typically, the only problem is a gap is if it's current, and even then it's usually about 2 years. So, this is a resume review of a project manager. So this person said they had a slight gap, which is not a huge problem. Honestly, candidates overemphasize how powerful a gap is. We don't care that much that you have a gap. Yeah, there's going to be some people that are bad actors, but it really only becomes bad if the gap is longer than 2 years, and that 2 years was recent. So, but they are a project manager, and they have a good ratio, which is 1 to 50. So I'm expecting, basically out of the corner of my eye that I can see this, before I fully look at the screen, that they have bad formatting, but the bullet points are solid, and maybe there just could be a little bit of improvement with there. So what we're going to be looking for in a project manager is industry, which is, again, I don't know what industry it is. I think it's actually video games based on what they said, which is really cool. AAA, or they just video games. And then, but more specifically, I want the details of how and why you did X, less so that you did X itself. Like, you can't just say worked cross-functional. You have to say worked with X, Y, and Z, which was cross-functional. I need to know the how and the why, which is arguably more important than the what, specifically for managers. How you made things happen compared to how you did things. So as a manager, your job is not to do the thing. Your job is to get others to do the thing. And to get resources for that thing, whatever that thing may be. That thing is going to depend on your industry and everything else. PMP and CSM certs are huge. If you have those, that is a giant green flag. Customer, stakeholders, agile. So that's a bonus again. We want the specific industry. And then how many people you managed. Was it matrixed or cross-functional, which is both the same thing and not the same thing all at once. How many projects, like the budget, how you used resources, and how you solved problems. So for higher level people, we really want to know the how and the why you did it more than anything. So immediately, this font is very teeny and hard to read. I do not like it. Please use 10.5 font. So, certified Scrum Master, Project Manager, cross-functional. Okay, again, the summaries are not great. Now, we do want to show that you have a PMP, which is great. Oh, no, you don't have a PMP? Oh, you have it down here. So this is why it's good to put the education up top, and why summaries are not needed is I don't think I've ever seen a summary that has actually changed my mind on a resume. Like, maybe in my entire career there's been one or two, but summaries are largely not needed unless you are switching industries or there is something critically wrong with your resume. And I mean critically wrong with your resume, like you're applying to be a wind turbine director and your entire resume only shows that you've worked at Burger King for 48 years, which, nothing against Burger King. That is a tough job. Cashier is actually a very difficult job. And honestly, sometimes that job has been harder than almost any blue collar job I've had when I used to have it. So, but you don't need a summary. I do want to know that you're a Scrum Master, but I don't need this because, again, you can't just say skilled in agile methodology, stakeholder communication, and cross-team coordination. That doesn't mean anything. You have to show how you did it and why. You cannot just take a bunch of keywords and slam them down into your resume. That does not work. You need to show how and why. So what you do is you replace this with your education, and then above that education, put your Scrum Master cert and your PMP, because those are arguably more important. I know this is a PMP is in progress, but they still would probably like it. So do that. And again, nobody really needs a summary unless, like I said, you're switching industries. It really holds back your resume, and I don't know why everybody does it, because they tell us nothing. So font wise, again, this is how it should look. This is the formatting that is better. It's not bad formatting. I don't want people to think this is awful and I'm throwing it in the trash because of formatting. This is like a B- formatting, and I want to take it to an A+, which is essentially what mine is. And your font should be Arial 10.5. So let's look at the actual bullet points, which I'm assuming are good. Coordinated launch, dozens of good. Live streaming updates for a global community of 1 million players, managing project timelines and aligning cross-functional teams to ensure on-time delivery. This is fantastic. I love it. This is a great bullet point. Oversaw the project lifecycle of a new content feature. Good. The show lifecycle is a good word to use. That drove a 25% increase in our user engagement. Collaborating with project and engineering teams. You show that you have done cross-functional. Perfect. Delivered capacity planning analysis for the annual content roadmap, ensuring QA testing deadlines. That means you met with their. These are great bullet points. This is arguably holding you back from this. Now, admittedly, because this is in video games is a very bad industry right now, but these are good. These are good bullet points so far. I really like these. Improved project velocity by 50%. I don't know what that means. By automated user story, creation Jira. This one, not so much, but again, it's okay. Manage under an art asset delivery of gained credible partners, including Adidas and Oso. This is okay. So I would like to know, I think the only thing you're really missing here is how many people you managed, and maybe you didn't. Maybe you're trying to move into management. But I do like a lot of these bullet points. This is why you're getting interviews. Truthfully, your formatting in this is just holding it back. And the fact that it's a bad industry. So, directed bug triage process, create a launch window. This I don't need as much. Implemented cross-functional advances, choose real-time report, improving instant response time. Yeah. So here's the big thing: is maybe you don't want to be a project. Maybe you do want to be a project manager, but I need to sort of show how you manage the people as well. And I know it's not like a manager, but even then, there's like stakeholders. I'm essentially missing the customer stakeholders and a little bit about how like the resources that were at your disposal. This is perfect, but like I don't know if you were alone or you worked on a team or if you led the team or not. And if you didn't, then I understand why you did not put it, but that's okay. But I am missing customers and stakeholders. So I think this is mostly a formatting issue and the fact that the industry you're in is not very good, but you could probably use this to switch to other industries as well. So they would love this stuff. You have a little bit too many percentages, which again, I want to clarify. It's okay to have some percentages. It's just you can't have too many. Like this is good and it's understandable. There's too many here. So this is being a little nitpicky because again, a 1 in 50 passes. A 1 in 50 ratio is solid. That is a C-, but it is a pass, and all that you care about is you pass. So I think you can fix up the formatting. I think you can tighten up some of the later bullet points, add stuff about customers and stakeholders, and then again, delete this section, replace it with education, and then above your, it should be here, but above your degree, so your actual degree will be here. Above this, you put your Scrum and then PMP one. So that's all I can really do for this resume, but again, this is not terrible. I'm being very nitpicky here. Don't panic about the gap. I know everybody panics about gaps. It's not the biggest deal that you would think. You actually can get a lot of interviews. Now, once it gets past 2 to 3 years, we start having issues. But even then, like, don't try to cover up the gap, because in the process of trying to cover up the gap, you make it worse typically. It's kind of like getting caught shoplifting, which is not good. And then in the process for that, you just light everything on fire and run away screaming. Is that in the process of trying to escape from the gap, you have made it worse. But again, being laid off since April is not the worst. I mean, it's terrible that it's happened, but on a resume and for hiring managers and recruiters, it's not the worst at all. Especially because in like, this is a quick history, is like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, gaps were more important because people did not understand the economy as much there. And now people are sort of understanding how bad the job market is, and they are shockingly more understanding of the gap. You still get 1 or 2 people that are just psycho and they were like, gap, but they're actually in the minority. So that's what I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. I had the 10 nuggets for $1 from Burger King years ago. Yeah, that does. Burger King's not known for their nuggets, though. Clem, I 100% agree with you. Is the summary is redundant with the information in the bullet points. Because you need it in the bullet points or the manager's going to get upset. And if you need it in the bullet points, then why would you have the summary? Again, if you're switching industry or maybe you need a visa, it could be beneficial. But without those two, it's just, a summary does not help. And apparently the biggest pushback I get is that education should be at the top, which I'm actually shocked about, because I'm like, really? That's the biggest pushback people get? You know what is weird? And Capybara, answer your question in a second, is, you know, has really good burgers is Del Taco. And you know what has the best milkshake I've ever had, which was not ever had, best fast food milkshake, is Whataburger. Whataburger has a phenomenal milkshake, which is not really in California. And I was really shocked. It's like, yeah, the burger place, burgers are mid, milkshakes are amazing. What are your thoughts on reapplying for jobs using an updated resume? That's fine. I've updated many times over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, it's okay. For one, and I think this is arguably the most important thing, is the amount of resumes you have to go through as a recruiter. You won't even notice the difference. Like, sometimes I don't even look at the name until if it's a yes or not. Sometimes I've moved people forward and I did not even know their name. I didn't even look at it because I was just like, gotta move. You can get into resume fatigue. I know it just really depends, because I think in this case though, like, look at this. These right here are huge. These right here are huge, Clem. It's possible the recruiter will stop reading here. Excuse me. Yeah, Del Taco does have hamburgers, and they were very good. So I actually very much like them. I heard put experience at the top if you were 5 years removed, but I've also been told XY based. So here's my view on this. And this is one of the most, like, people have fought back on me with. And this is overall a relatively minor thing on your resume. There are a lot of things that can spell doom on your resume. I will fully admit, putting the education at the bottom is not going to spell doom for most resumes. This is sort of going from like a 70% to a 73%, okay? This is a overall relatively minor issue that I think can be improved by putting it up at the top. So when I say you need to put it at the top, I'm really saying this will give you like 2 extra points on an 100 thing. This is like 2% of your grade. It's not much, but it's something else. And the primary reason is most of us, we just need to see that you have this and then move down. And they may not look at it. So I don't want people to think like if you don't have it up top, your resume is doomed. That's not the case. It's gonna, like, in one in every 50 resumes, the recruiter will not see that you have that. But in this case, it's actually especially important to put up top because they are a certified Scrum Master, which as a project manager is huge. It's huge to have that. And it's very possible that they miss it here. They don't read the summary because they're not useful. And then they don't see it down here because they see education and stop. So in this case, it is actually pretty impactful and they want it up top. But in most other people's cases, while it does benefit you to have it up top, this is not going to be the end-all be-all of your resume. If you're not getting screenings, then change it up for sure. I only say it because I used to have experience above education, no issues. But yeah, well, for yours, it's a CPA. And in this case, I think that's where here is they say Scrum here, but we don't see it. So if they put Scrum Master or PMP here up top, I don't know if it would be needed if they needed to put the education up top. So yeah, I do know that, Ink. Most of them don't, but it's important to do it because, again, it's a qualification. So this is me being nitpicky. I don't want people to think like, oh, they don't have it there, but like, you don't want the recruiter to miss it, you know? Because for a product, that was what we're doing. Like, you don't understand the mind state you can get into when you have to view so many resumes in a row. Like, I don't get to talk to y'all. I have to see everything I do in a week of this show, this YouTube thing, whatever, in the equivalent of about 5 to 6 minutes. That's how long I have to look at all of them. Let's see. So it's 30 seconds of each. There's 25. So brain. Yeah, like 2.5 minutes. I have 2.5 minutes essentially to find the information in the 25 resumes that I spend the equivalent of 2.5 hours talking about over the week. So it's a volume issue, and that's really where the biggest disconnect of people between recruiters is once you do things at volume, things change. Things get really weird at volume, and that is what recruiters do. So here, look, in this is a product manager. That is a requirement. The requirement should go up top. Down here, let's see, do they have it? Oh, they actually don't for this one. So yeah, I think it's safer. I think it's better to put it up here. Bachelor's. So yeah, the education is I will fight on this. I don't think it's the biggest deal, but I will say you should have your education up at the top for the vast majority. In Clem's case, it's not as important because what they're looking for is not the education, but the CPA. And having the CPA implies that you do have the education, because I think that's a qualification. So Clem can get away with putting CPA at the top and not the education, because the second they say CPA, they don't care about anything else. The rest of us do not necessarily have that luxury. And look, most of these job descriptions say bachelor's degree. Not all of them, but like even if 50% do, it's easy. And what recruiters can do is we just look, okay, bachelor, and then we move past it. So I will say education should be at the top. I will die on that hill, but it's also not a very big hill. So that's my opinion on it. Oh shoot, I messed up. Let me actually save this the correct way. Because some things, like, it's kind of the problem of, like, how important is some of the stuff I'm saying. Some of it is massive. Like, putting the months and year are really huge. But, like, some of the other stuff, we're really just being very nitpicky, and this is going from solid to even better. I've converted to EDU than experience because it's not a hill for me to die on. There. Where's that little guy from? It looks like Cartman in a Santa costume, but I know it's not Cartman. But no, overall that resume was actually okay. It was just sort of too much stuff. So, okay, that's good. This person, I think, did their full name. Yeah, they did their full name. So, give me a second. Making sure they're not doxxed. Oh, you know what? They did their full name, but they boxed everything out. Is this... Okay, so this was intentional then. This I can show. Is this like a person? Is this like a person's name, or is this like something in I assume Spain or Brazil? Like, is this like a cartoon character or a famous person, or is this just this person's name? It may just be this person's name. So, but again, they boxed everything else out, so I think they are fine with it. But just in case, we are gonna do this. So, trying to go from IT technician to developer. Although that I feel that I have the skills, I think I lack in the self-promoting department. Don't we all? We could all do with a little bit more self-promotion. That was a hard lesson I had to learn. Not hard as in like mentally, but like how to actually do it successfully. Is learning how to brag about yourself is important. And I kind of wish we taught people how to do it. Because if you do it too much, you're a jerk. If you don't do it at all, people don't know you did anything good, and they will think you didn't do stuff. I'm bad at pop culture as well. My wife makes fun of me all the time for not knowing who X was. She's like, you grew up then. Like, we're like 3 years apart. How do you, or 4 years apart. How do you not know this? And I'm like, oh. For a school project, I asked my father, like, hey, Dad, you were there when the hippies were here. What was it like growing up in that era? And he said, I don't know. I really kept to myself. And I'm like, nothing? You can't tell me anything about what it was growing up during, like, the 60s? He's like, no, I just kept my head down. And I'm like, cool. And now I'm wondering if I'm doing that same exact thing. So, X what? Oh, there's just so many X's. All right. Stretch. Let me make sure I'm not going to get cut off with an ad. Nope, I should be fine. Keep your head down and keep pushing. Yeah, that's apparently my family's motto. Which I'm not really doing because I am live streaming stuff, so it's not really keeping my head down. All right, 3, 2, 1. this is a full stack developer. So we don't know their ratio of applications. They said they're trying to go from IT technician to developer, although they feel that they have the skills they lack in the self-promoting department, which again, I think that everybody could do with a little self-promotion. It's really tough to self-promote correctly without looking like a jerk. I wish they taught it in school. So what we're going to be looking for full stack is, at least in the United States, other places have slightly different stuff, like the EU has a slightly different full stack. So in the US specifically, the full stack we're going to be looking for is TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. Those are arguably the most important. Node, Angular, Next.js, MongoDB, SQL, React.js, API, and REST, also huge. Cloud, very good to have. Agile, CI/CD. And cross-functionally is nice to have. It's like slightly more than a bonus point, but it's not, everybody has it. And you get bonus points for the word architecture, extra languages, and Git. So first off, this formatting is awful. We really don't want to see this formatting. The reason formatting is important is things get weird when you recruit at volume. When you have to read 30 resumes in approximately 15 seconds each, which is all the time we have. We do not have time to dig in. Things get a little bit weird. So this is why this formatting works, is boring and is basic, and it conveys your actual stuff easily. So this is what I want it to look like. I want your first and last name. I want your phone number, email, LinkedIn portfolio. Then if you are a U.S. citizen or green card holder in the U.S., at least put that citizenship status. Otherwise, don't do that. Do not lie. And then your city and state. Then put your education. Yes, even if you have 5-10 years experience, education should be up top. It is a requirement and it should be up top. You don't want your recruiter to miss it, which can happen, especially if they're looking at 1,000 different resumes. And again, realistically, this is not a joke. This is not a bit. I know I exaggerate. Recruiters do have 15 seconds to look at a resume. We don't get longer than 15 seconds. I wish we could spend more time, but unfortunately, the recruiter that does usually is going to get laid off. So education up top, then we do your work history or projects, and it should all be everything here, which I'm going to try to highlight, which I can't. Everything here should be 10.5 Arial. That is the font, and no bolding. Skills sections are not needed. They do not work. The hiring manager will reject you. So do not have a skills section or typically a summary. So then we go here. So IT support technician. Now, I said most resumes don't need a summary. This is one of the cases where you might actually shockingly need a summary. And that is when you are switching industries, which you are. So what you want to say is moving to software engineering from IT support technician, because what they're going to see is IT support technician and they may immediately discount your resume. So to get them to stop, you just have a little bullet point at the very top. All it just says is moving to software engineer or full stack dev from IT support technician. That's it. That's all you need to put. That's it. And then that'll help you out. Then we can have this stuff. So maintaining hardware, software. So again, the problem with this is this doesn't give me anything I need. There are no bullet points here that I could use. Normally experience is more important than projects, but if you have not done anything professionally, which I'm going to look at the second one in a second, then you may not even want to list this. So this may be okay to not list. Or alternatively, you don't even need the summary and you just don't list the IT support technician. Full stack developer, developed over 20 web apps, including front end, back end. Okay, but how? What did you use? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Develop software from concept to technology. Yeah, these are bad bullet points. So this is what I would be looking for. The problem is it needs this stuff. If you do not have these in bullet points, it doesn't work. You cannot just cram them into a skills section. You will get rejected. I wish you could. I wish it was that easy, but unfortunately you need to show how you used it and why you used it. So what I want you to do, and this is not even going to be hard, is just say developed over 20 web applications using TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, along with Node and whatever. So that is how I want you to do it, and truthfully, you should remove the IT support technician. It's not doing anything to help you. If you had been there for like 2 to 3 years, you could put it on because it shows that you are specifically able to work long term, but you don't have that, so I would remove that. And then projects, blah, blah, blah. I'll come to the back end using, again, here's the problem. I have to go all the way down here to see TypeScript. Again, this doesn't count. Skill sections don't count. And then that's it. So Git is nice. So yeah, the problem is you just don't have the keywords in this. Here, let's look down. I don't need this sentence. For the backend, I'm using Node.js and TypeScript. Good. RESTful API, which are good. This is a sentence that I actually care about. I shouldn't have to scroll all the way down here to do that. And again, your education should normally be at the top. But if this is a boot camp, then maybe you are okay with putting it at the bottom. But if you graduated with a bachelor's, you do want that up top. So does this resume pass? No, it doesn't, unfortunately. I think you might be. Let me actually look at my chat real quick. Yeah, no, but yeah, it's not. I just wanted to see if they were in chat so I can talk to them after about this, which is what I do. After the resume, if you were in chat when I review it, I go over how to make better keywords, which again, I don't do for this video because that would like balloon the screen time to like 2 hours per video, and they're only a little long. So this resume does not pass. But basically, in both a formatting and bullet point, you kind of need to start all over, which I really wish was not the case. So what we want to do to summarize, also this person, I guess this is who they are. I can show this because they delete everything else. If you don't want your name shown, I could delete that part of the video, but I think you're okay with that since you X'd out everything else. So to summarize, what we need to do is fix the formatting. Formatting needs to look like this. Then we want to put full stack here, and I want to know what and how you did. You cannot just have a skills section. This does not matter. I need to see it in here. You need to tell me what it is you did, which is the keyword, how you did it, and why you did it. So that'll be it for me. I'm the Headless Headhunter. I'm here to help you get a job and get ahead of the workforce, or the whatever I need a tagline. And if you need more help, stop by my stream, twitch.tv/Headless Headhunter. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. PST. I'm here to help. And until the next video, I want to make sure you guys and gals and everything in between get employed. All right, back. Only in 2000. Hey, Punished Carl, how you doing? Only in 2025 wouldn't go from full stack developer to IT support technician. Yeah, that was that resume told a story, and it was not a happy story. That is not a happy story. I'm also looking for my first full-time software job. Should I just get rid of the skills section entirely, even at the bottom? I might upload my resume for a review. I hope you do. It doesn't really, I guess you could leave it at the bottom. It doesn't matter. The big thing to know about resumes is they may not get past this section. This is a bad resume for it. It may not get past like this section, what's on the screen. And if they don't, it doesn't. So sorry, my mind just blanked out for a second. So the most important part of your resume is the first half of the first page. Anything after that is fine. You could have a 1-page, 2-page, 3-page, whatever. Although as a new grad, you probably want to keep it to 1 page, but I wouldn't panic if you can't. And the reason the skills section is not good is essentially the same with the summary, is it takes up the most valuable space on your resume, which is this section. And you really, 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 really need that space to be clear. So I don't like skills sections. And this is not the recruiter doesn't like it, it's the manager. Because as an IT recruiter, what will happen is you see those and like, oh, they have Node. And then you send it to the manager, and the manager's like, why did you send this to me, Lee? It's not in the bullet points. They didn't show how they did it, and it'll get rejected and you'll get yelled at. So you cannot have a skills section. You need to show how and why you did it. High level managers can get away with it because it's less about what they did and how they did it. But for IC roles, which is individual contributor, which is basically non-manager, you don't want a skills section. So could you put it at the bottom? Yes, but it's not really going to do anything. So, because that's like, there's no like tracking or anything. And if it's in the bullet points clearly, then why does it matter that it's in the thing? Why does it matter that it's in the skills section? Because what I want to see it is here. And if it's already here and clear, then a skills section is redundant. So I hope that made sense. Also, I'm going to take a very quick break. I'm going to go to the restroom and refill my water. But I will be right back, and I will answer any questions after that. So give me like 3-4 minutes. I will be right back. And I think the dog may have to go out. Actually, no, I think Corey's done. There you go. You silly bear. There you are. All right. I am back. Also, Dalen, let me know when you get back if you're here. I know you had an interview like 30 minutes ago. Oh, you are. There we go. Awesome. All right, we can do your resume. Excuse me. Let me fix this. This was 134. 134.5. 134.5M. And then 134.5M. 134.5, but no M. All right, cool. So, let's do this. You want it. So here's kind of the issue with this is you wanted a cloud engineer, a DevOps engineer, or a software engineer backend role. Those are kind of all different. From what I found, cloud engineer is similar to DevOps. So we can either do DevOps / cloud engineer, or we can do software engineer. Those are different roles, and if I search for one, it will disqualify the other. So pick which one you want. DevOps, okay, yeah. How did the interview go? First off, yeah, how did it go? Was it just the recruitment screen, the recruiter screen? Was it the full thing? Was it a tech? Tell the class. Okay, so just the recruiter screen. Okay, recruiters don't even necessarily consider that a full screen, like an interview. We kind of just consider it a like an extra check, but it is good that you got it. It means you got the recruiters. So hopefully you will get an interview in a couple of days. Yeah, nice. I have to do 2 recruiter screens today. So although it's a little bit different because I'm an agency recruiter, but I basically say, hey, here's what I need to check for. This is really boring. I'm going to speed through it. Do you have ba 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 ba? Okay, cool. Now we can get to the fun stuff. So wait, did you ask them technical questions or did you ask them like structural questions? But yeah, we wouldn't know anything. Like we don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. Technical? Yeah, no. Recruiters are not going to know the technical definite stuff of your job. We never will. I know a lot of candidates will be like, so Lee, I know you represent that company. It's really good. What do you do with the technology of GitHub Actions? And I'm like, that's a great hiring manager question. I cannot help you with any technical information, but I can help you know the bonus structure, the company, some of the overall culture, those kind of things. But yeah, no, I have no idea what you do. I have placed people like you. I don't know. I wouldn't know if you showed me a DevOps screen of what you do the day-to-day, I would be like, yep, that's a computer screen. So we would not know technical stuff. So DevOps, we are going to go to... now, technically, that is different than a DevOps engineer. Are you in the U.S. or are you outside the U.S.? Because these are specifically U.S. ones, and we may have to look outside the U.S. if you're not in the U.S. Want to make sure. Okay, cool. So let me do a couple of checks real quick just to make sure I've got the right keywords. And then as per usual, I will act like you were not here in chat, and then afterwards we can go over it specifically. Again, everybody else may ask questions. This is just specifically to Dalen's resume. So I am so tired. I don't know why. EKS, that actually might be something I need to change. Ansible, GitHub, salary. Okay, this is a bad job description. DevOps specialist, DevOps engineering, DevOps. Oh my gosh. I forgot how DevOps was all the same and but different, but the same. DevOps. Okay, so we're gonna. Why is it? Whoa. Why is there only 166 DevOps positions? LinkedIn, what are you doing wrong? Reset, please. What is going on? There should be. Okay, so I guess DevOps. Is it DevOps engineer or DevOps itself? Which are you looking for? Or is it cloud DevOps? Before seeing your stream? Okay. It is. You know what? I will say this LinkedIn search tool was okay, and they changed something in the algorithm like a week ago. Literally a week and a half ago. it's now wrong, and I don't know what it did, and I can't tell people how to fix it because I don't know what they did yet. But they actually changed something, and even in the Boolean searches that I could do internally with it, something's changed on the back end, and I don't like it. So is DevOps... Okay, cool. DevOps engineer works. So let me switch this keywords a little bit. Oh, this looks more correct. DevOps engineer. Alrighty. So DevOps engineer for me case. DevOps, AWS, cloud. Yeah, cloud. So not only do we want cloud, we're going to want some of the subcategories. So subcategories, I don't know what these are called. Like, what is EC2 called in cloud or whatever it is? It's like a like a tool you use within it. I don't know actually what it's called. CI/CD. CI/CD is good. IT ops, industry trends, prioritize, multitask, services. Okay, there we go. Prioritize, multitask, Kubernetes. I think multitask, but everybody wants to know that you can multitask. I really don't like putting multitask on the job description, truthfully, but Kubernetes, system engineer, GitHub, CI/CD. See, I don't, this, you know what? This is what it looks like. This is why I don't like when you bold, because they put built and maintained CI/CD using, and then they bolded GitHub. So this is what it looks like on your resume when you do this, is we may actually miss the needed stuff over here. But it does seem like they really want GitHub, which, cool, don't, this is why you don't bold stuff. So, because it's really hard to read it. Did I have Git up here? I should have Git. I don't. Let's do GitHub, just in case. But otherwise, these look mostly correct. Engineer, so again, Docker, Python, Git flows. Yeah, so Git would be good. Git should have been there in the first place. We have SQL. Yeah, I don't see infrastructure as code, but we're not going to get all of these. So this is so far okay. Terraform is good. We see that a lot, so I'm moving that up. Docker. All right, I think that's good. We might be missing a little bit, but we've still got enough. I always say that and I look at like 3 more, don't I? Ansible. Do we have Ansible? I've seen that one a lot. Okay, there we go. This is close enough at least. So, why are my sinuses so bad? All right. I am zen. 3, 2, 1. This is a resume of a DevOps engineer. So this person is just looking for a job. We don't know their ratio. They've actually updated it after watching some videos. So this is their resume pre-update. What we're going to be looking for in a DevOps engineer is everything. This is not an exhaustive list. Ideally, what we're going to be looking for is cloud and any of its services. So if I miss any of its services and you have them, that's going to be okay. Because I don't want to list all of them. Otherwise, this list would be twice as long, but it is required as the cloud and its services. DevOps, the word is good. CI/CD, Git, Terraform, Ansible are all major. Docker is nice. Then Linux or Xenix or Red Hat or Cent or Amazon. SQL is good. Infrastructure code is nice. DynamoDB. Here we're going to go to things we really want. So Kubernetes is major. Google Cloud is nice. Helm, Vault, IAC. And then security practices, network protocols, also is compliance and multitask. So there's a lot of stuff here, but realistically what I kind of care about the most is in this little bracket and Kubernetes and SQL. Everything else is really nice to have, but you're not expected to have all of it. So let's begin. So highly motivated, blah, 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 blah. This is why, in fact, I think this is a good way to say this. This is why professional summaries don't really work, is they don't tell you anything. They really don't tell you anything about the candidate. Every single professional resume I have ever seen in my life is the exact same, except for one singular resume that stands out glaringly in my mind. and that was way worse of what they wrote. So this is not useful, and the professional summary just doesn't tell us anything, right? Like, I don't need to know that you did infrastructure as code. I need to know how you did it, which is the same as the skills section. This stuff needs to be in the bullet points. Also, your education should be up top. It's not the biggest thing to not have. Like, you can still get interviews if your education is at the bottom, but for most industries, even if you've got 10 years, it's beneficial to put the education at the top, because the recruiter will see it, go, okay, checklist, good, and then move down. But if it's at the very bottom, like this, they may miss it. Now, if, like in this case, it's not applicable, then that is why you would put it at the very bottom. So it could also be that if they don't see it at the top, they're going to think you don't have a relevant PS, which could be the case. So this stuff doesn't really work. Let's see, design exterior applications to handle rapid growth. This is an okay starter, but I still would like a keyword or two here. Led projects for distance reliance, save cost through automation, and made technology easier, but you didn't. This is too broad, so this part doesn't count. The first part is good. Also, every single bullet point needs to be a singular sentence. It can be a long sentence. It can be a run-on sentence, but it does need to be a single sentence. See, pioneer the adoption of infrastructure as code. Good. So here's the thing. After you say infrastructure as code, put it in parentheses and put IAC. It's possible they may only know IAC. They may not know the actual full name, so that is why you want to do that. Using Terraform, good for Okta, maybe Okta, Google Workspace, Google Cloud, okay, and Fivetrain. I don't know if I saw Fivetrain, but again, that might be a service of Google Cloud that I'm not aware of, so that's okay. Implemented CI/CD, good. Using GitHub Actions, good. And AWS code pipeline along with admin training to align with the SDLC, too much. Document speed. Okay, so here's the thing. There are some good stuff here. I actually really like this. It's just a little too much. Again, there is a problem specifically with highly technical resumes that you can have too many keywords and it can be too long in a single sentence. So you can have a 3-line sentence. That's okay, but this is pretty long. So pioneered the adoption of infrastructure as code, IAC, using Terraform and maybe Okta or cloud platform, right? Google Cloud Platform, along with implementing a CI/CD pipeline using GitHub Actions and AWS code pipeline. Then you can kind of stop. So this alone can be a good sentence, and then you can stop. Because the other stuff isn't as needed. Yes, it's nice that it's in SDLC, which is Software Development Lifecycle, but maybe you could put that in another bullet point because there's already a lot here. Developed a Golang application. I don't know if I've really seen Golang as a keyword. Utilizing, just say using. APIs is good. DynamoDB, good. That's in the list. Jenkins, maybe. And an internal developer to automate incorporating Coupa. Don't care. With Jira Asset Management, probably don't care about Jira Asset Management with Led to Limited. So yeah, again, this is too long, and you kind of already have it. Like if you just said this, right, would be okay. Developed a Golang application using APIs, DynamoDB's Jenkins as an internal developer platform to automate IT asset creation. There we go, that's fine. You didn't really need to add the rest of it. So leveraged, I hate the word leverage, but Okta workflows. And again, I'm not sure if Okta was a keyword that I saw. It could be I missed it, but I don't think I saw it. Slack API, again, too much. So yeah, your bullet points are just too wordy and they have too many other keywords. I don't think this is bad. I definitely found what I needed, and it was good that they were in the first part, but you could honestly cut out a lot of that stuff and it would be better. So overall, not a terrible resume. The only other thing I'm very confused about, also systems administrators can in fact do DevOps. That is actually in a lot of the job postings. They said if you are DevOps or a system administrator. So, but here's the part where I'm a little bit losing you, is these are the same dates. You don't want things to overlap on the same dates. It doesn't look great. So maybe we can fix that, or alternatively just remove this. I don't know if this is as needed as this. So fix the dates and then maybe add something for multitask here. Put the education up at top. Simplify the formatting, which you probably already done by now because this is, again, you fixing stuff. But the biggest issue I think here is just these are too wordy. And you really, if you just cut them off in half, I think most of them will be good. So focus on those keywords, But overall, not bad. I don't want you to think this is a terrible resume. You can definitely find some stuff you need, but I don't want them to miss the stuff because there's a lot of keywords that they're going to be looking for. So, next resume. Okay. Whew. Brain, working on the solutions arc. It's pronounced Golang. It's short for Go language. I hate IT terms, but thank you. I will never get any of them right. But Golang, so Go language. I hate IT terms. What's the process you're only going to take the cert? Okay, so that's about the dates. It was a copy paste. Okay, again, not a problem. So yeah, did that make sense? I know you've kind of already fixed it by now, but like seriously, these are some solid sentences. You just kind of need to stop. So, but overall, like these are some solid sentences. So all you really need to do is just sort of shorten them a little bit. Yeah, because remember, we really want to focus. Now, you do want to double check because DevOps can ask for a lot of stuff, and an AWS versus Azure will ask for different services. So you do want to add some of the services for there. In fact, what you may want to do is just a bullet point that says, used X and Y services, which included X, But yeah, you just need to cut it down a little bit and fix a little bit of the formatting. But I really like this stuff, a lot of it too. So, like, where did it go? My brain. See, this is why it's too big. I can't even find it right now. Like, even though it has some extra stuff, this sentence alone is pretty solid. Like, pioneered the adoption of infrastructure as code, parentheses IAC, and using Terraform. Again, I don't know if Okta is needed or Google Workspace, but Google Cloud is, and implemented a CI/CD. So yeah, no worries. Assuming at least in the US, and DevOps is weird in that they kind of want everything. So you have a problem where your resume could be too many keywords, right? And it could be too many things that they're looking for. And remember, we only have 15 seconds. So if you can have, in fact, here it is. Do you have a relative, Dalen, that like doesn't know IT at all? Maybe a cousin or a aunt, an uncle, a parent, a grandparent. If you can give them a list and they can find it, that's a good resume. So like find what the keywords are first. Then when you remake it, say, hey, find these here in 35 seconds. And if they can do that, it's a solid resume. Because that's the thing, is your resume needs to make sense to them. What week is this from? Probably delayed. This is from the 20th. No, the 5th. What the heck? Yeah, this is from the 5th. So last week. Really? That's from last week. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's from last week. I didn't do it Monday because I barely got anything done because I was not feeling great. But yeah, this is from last week on the 5th, Hamza. What's funny is that Golang is an outdated term now. It's just Go now. I don't like IT terms. I don't care if I'm an old man yelling at cloud. Y'all need a lexicon and y'all need to stick with it. Pick a name, go with it. You have too many different names for IT. You got Golang, or Golang, which is now Go, which is going to turn into Goo, which is going to turn into Gularg, and then it's going to turn into Rust for some reason. I don't know. I don't understand it. I recruited for it. I don't like all the terms. Yeah, there's a lot of lexical scope. Honestly, recruitment is real guilty about that, truthfully. Like, the difference between a recruiter, a talent acquisition, and, like, a recruitment manager. No, gosh, what is it? Something else can all be the same. There's a huge amount of lexical scope in recruitment. So I really can't talk. It's very hypocritical. All right, this is 1342. 1342. Okay, what is next? A business analyst, and then the next, after this business analyst, the next like 3 people all have their full contact information. All right, this one doesn't though. Also, I think it was really funny because I cannot hear the music that y'all hear because I don't work well with music, and apparently during one of the songs, one of the songs played extra loud, and it was so weird. And I was talking and there was like in the background, and I went, "What the hell song is that? I want to remove it because it was so distracting, and I don't know what it is." See, so that's good. They wanted strategy consulting. I've been actively looking for roles but have little success. The only interviews I've gotten for referrals. Yeah, those are usually a good way to do it. Even when I got into debate, I convert them to offers. Case in point last week. Oof. Well, I can't really help with the offers, unfortunately, because the offers is not the point of the... I can, but I can't really help in this format. Let's see. They said business analyst strategy consulting roles. What is the difference between that and non-analyst? Analyst roles. Is there a difference between them? Not data analyst, business analyst. It's business time. Business time. We're doing business. I often use a brown noise video from YouTube. Yeah, I'm the kind of person that when I need to concentrate, complete silence. Like I can listen to streams when I'm sourcing because I've already gotten my data stuff set. All I'm really doing is plugging and chugging the data and sending templates. But when I'm like finding the keywords, I need complete silence. I have earplugs here specifically for that. So learning with a course, then going to take the cert, cloud stuff. Cool. Yeah, I know some certs are needed. It's just not as much in software engineers. So, all right, let me check to make sure there's a difference between these before I go, because they want business analyst consultant. But I don't know the difference between... I don't know if I can even find the difference between those. And then I want to do at least another 5 resumes, which I hope I can do in time, because I need a break, because I've been like talking all day today, and I have more calls to do later today. Oh, my LinkedIn froze, and I want to make sure I have the brain power for them, and I need to take a break to play the Bazaar, because that is a really good game. Okay, yeah, there's not really consultant stuff, strategy and consultant I can find. Why do we have an ad and 5? Boo. I'll do this resume, then we'll do an ad. Well, no, pushing off that. Okay. Focus. Focus. We're focusing. We're focusing. We're focusing. Everybody stop distracting me. We're focusing. This is a focus time. I have my little thing up at the top so I can say my intro line, because every YouTube video needs an intro line. Does it? I don't know, but I'm going to try it. I really am flying by the seat of my pants for the YouTube thing. People are like, dang, Lee, your YouTube's popping off. What are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm spamming everything until it works. I found out the big head on the thumbnail works, and one word bolded on the thumbnail, and then I'm trying randomly a bunch of stuff until I see what works. Okay, I think that's good. Nothing else. They have 1 in 100, so away we go. I forgot what I was going to say. I am a corporate recruiter, the Headless Headhunter, and I'm here to review your resumes so that you can get ahead of the job market. So, the first person we have up is a business analyst. Now, they said business analyst strategy and consulting roles. I was not able to find a big difference between them, so this is broad spectrum business analyst keywords. It may not be 100% correct, but it should be at least mostly correct. What we're going to be looking for is SQL, any type. Usually, it's actually kind of interesting that when a company says SQL, they honestly usually mean almost any type of SQL. It's kind of weird like that, which isn't really the case for a lot of other stuff. Data analysts, Tableau, Power BI, Looker, cross-functional from IC, which is individual contributor, which is non-management to stakeholders and managers. You can multitask projects and explain complex topics to non-technical people. This is huge. This part right here is massive. Excuse me. And this is what most people miss out on their resume, specifically for like business analyst, is you are the person that parses the data. You are the person that goes like, hey, this is what the data actually means, and you need to show me that you can explain it. In addition, I do need Excel, advanced, we're talking like pivot tables and VLOOKUP and all that stuff, along with Word and PowerPoint. This person's ratio is 100 to 1, which is not good, and that means it's 100 applications to 1 interview. So ideally, we want a minimum of 50 to 1. 50 to 1 is not great, but it's a passing grade, so we want to move that down. So before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out. And if you need more help, go to my Twitch. That's where I look up the keywords and I give people a little bit more help, like how to find the keywords, offer letter stuff, all that kind of stuff. I just can't really do it in the video. Twitch.tv/Headless Headhunter. And away we go. Also, this person did say that they had gotten some offers, but they've not been able to convert them to offers, even though they've gotten interviews. And that is something I can help on the channel. Can't really do it here because the resume's only goal is to get you an interview. If a resume is getting you an interview, it's done its job. That's the entire point of the resume. After that, it's a bunch of other different stuff, different tactics and techniques you can do, which I do know, but it's highly competitive too. So anyway, let's look at the actual resume. So, away we go. Formatting is bad, but not the worst. So, what I want is the formatting to look like this. The purpose of formatting is specifically to be easy to read. This is hard to read. I have to find this stuff in 15 seconds. I spend so much more time on these videos looking at these resumes than I would physically be able to in real life. We have 15 seconds to look it up. So, education is up at the top. That's good. None of this should be bolded. None of that should be bolded. It should be 10.5 Arial, and it should be a max of 2 lines. I don't really think there's anything here that needs to be this many lines. This in your GPA can fit into 1 line. This can fit into line 2, and then we're good. So then we go to professional. Nothing here should be bolded. Again, professional experience should be bolded, but this little line shouldn't have it. So, senior business analyst, codified bulk magics discount and promotion engine by benchmarking 5 peer, mining psychological pricing research and translating findings into tiered bulk buy and group buy rules that now guide every beta checkout. I don't know what any of that means. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for discount and promotion and codifying your benchmark peer thing. I'm looking for this stuff. There's a metaphor I'm going to steal from somebody else on LinkedIn, but it's kind of like going to a fast food place and saying, hey, I want a burger and fries. And the person comes back and is like, all right, here's your spaghetti and your orange juice. And we're like, cool, that's not what I wanted. This is the stuff I'm looking for. It's good to have a summary of your job duties as the first one, but that summary needs to be so incredibly basic a toddler can understand, and that's not an exaggeration. This is why you're not getting interviews. There's like nothing here. Train the company's first price prediction model with accuracy, led weekly team sprints with product engineering ops. So this is good because it shows that you can work a little bit of cross-functional. Inventory 90% plus. What 90? What goal? I don't know anything about you. I don't know what bulk magics discount and promotion engine. I don't know what you did to it. I don't know anything here. Where's the Excel? Where's the you talking to stakeholders? This is solid because it shows that you worked cross-functionally. I challenge people to understand what this is. Because remember, the person reading this probably does not have industry knowledge. And it's possible that the person hiring you doesn't either. There are non-technical managers that need to hire a subject matter expert on their team that left. So weekly cross sprint. I mean, the weekly cross sprints is fine. Suspended, spearheaded. Multi-department data is good. Tableau dashboard, good. I don't care about your savings. So here's the thing that I have not explained well, and this is on me as a recruiter, and I'm sorry to all of you. So this is me apologizing. I have said before that your achievements don't matter, and that's not quite true. You can, in fact, have percentages in your resume. The thing is, you need to keep them very sparse. In this whole thing, you should only really have like 2 to 4 percentage points. Those if your metric is not understood by a layman with no knowledge of your industry, it's not a good metric in the resume. So there's too many things that are not understood. You wrote this so that only other business analysts could understand what you do. Maybe not even then. I don't know. I cannot speak. I've hired plenty of business analysts. I don't know what y'all do. I know that this is what I'm looking for, and this is how you get hired, and I have hired people faster than other recruiters in it, but I don't know enough about this. ETL pipelines are probably not needed for this either. So yeah, there's like nothing here that I need. You need to redo almost all of these bullet points. I'm looking for SQL. I'm looking for data analysis. I'm looking for Tableau. I did see that once. Power BI, Looker, cross-functional, which you did have, which was good. But I only saw the IC. I didn't see the stakeholders or managers, really. Could have been either IC or managers, but I still would like stakeholders. Kind of saw multitask, but I need to show that you're an expert. You in fact have shown me that you have failed at one of the most important keywords with this resume, which is explaining tasks and projects that are complex to non-technical people. One of the biggest tests for a business analyst is their resume easy to understand? And this is not. So I'm not trying to pick on you. I just want you to I want you to be able to get a job. And you need to explain all this in a simple way, especially for somebody as a business analyst. Your job is to take the complex and explain it. And right now this is all complex and I'm too dumb for this. And that's why you're not getting any interviews. So if you want to know how to translate those interviews into offers, come on my stream. I can help you with that. But for resume wise, there's a lot you can improve here. I barely see any bullet points I want. It's way too complicated. You over-engineered it. A toddler needs to understand this. So let's go to the next resume. Let's see. The reason why it doesn't matter what kind of SQL is because SQL is just a language for querying data from a relational database. Well, it pretty much works the same. Okay. Oh, Hamza, this is yours roasted. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're here and I can help you out. We have an ad in a minute. After that, we'll go work on this. But yeah, it's basically way too complex. Like, for real, jokes aside. Okay, good. I'm always afraid I'm being too mean. Because I play the heel in the video, which is like the villain, because I know how people see recruiters, but I really don't want to hurt people's feelings. So, but yeah, it's way too complicated. And the bullet points, some of them are okay, like the ones I linked, but it's just way too complicated. Like, for real, if you have a sibling or an aunt or something that doesn't know what you do, if you could get them to understand it, that's a successful resume. But yeah, let's work on, so you let me know if there's any other questions you need specifically about the resume. I will answer them after the commercial. And then we can actually work on translating those interviews into offers, because that's an entirely separate thing. And I can kind of give some tidbits and tactics on that a little bit. So not on the technical side, obviously. I don't like math. Math doesn't like me unless it's commission. But yeah, let me know if there's any in particular questions about this, or if it made sense, or if you need anything else. I'm gonna rest my voice for a second, because again, I have more phone screens to do after this. So many phone screens to do. What didn't he already accept? That's weird. Did they double up? Did they change it? Okay, I have to look this up after on the meeting. Thank you. Should I delete the leadership section and just expand? No. So the leadership isn't bad if you're applying for senior roles. They lead or senior do require some leadership. It's just that I don't see the leadership here. Like, the problem is I don't know what you do. I need you to remember, I am the dum-dum that doesn't understand what you do. I need you to write it like that. But if you're applying for senior roles or lead roles, you should have a little bit of leadership. So, the data lab. Lead Uber noob getting offers. Well, he might only be getting interviews, but I hope he's getting offers. I want to get you some offers, Uber. I can't wait till when I get a phone screen and all of a sudden I hear Headless on the other end. That would be really funny. Yeah. I'm waiting for that to happen. Where it's just like, hey, probably not. I typically only get called to fill really difficult searches. Which, you know, admittedly, we don't know what the market's going to be like. So, yeah, that could work. But yeah, that would be really funny. And like, I'm the Headless Hunter's like, I know you, I watch you. And I'm like, yay. Honestly, I fear having to reject a candidate like that. But I'm usually pretty brief about it because my personal view of recruiting is the one thing that is in our control is hope. And you should never give false hope. And I once called somebody, I spoke with them for like 4 sentences. And I said, well, unfortunately, that's what the client wants. They said, is that it? I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to waste your time. That was a key qualification. They're unfortunately not going to move forward. So I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Never mind then. All right. Bye. I've had a lot of like 2 to 3 minute calls sometimes because I want to make sure the candidate gets their questions answered and you're not wasting them. But I hope I get to place people from my stream before. That would be really fun. Yeah, you're not hired though. Sorry. I mean, that's what I'd fear the most is like, yeah, it didn't work. I'll see you tomorrow on the stream. Sorry. Hamza, these are, let's study. The problem is this doesn't show leadership. This says that you led a study. I need to see that you led people. Specifically when we're talking about like leadership roles, we want to know that you have led people, not necessarily the process. That would be more of like a product manager. But yeah, no, I've tried to get like, I was working a role and I tried to get at the time, I think my wife and one of my other friends who's staying with us a position. I mentioned to the manager, like, hey, I would like to put them in. This is not me. This is like specifically my friend and girlfriend. Would you be? And they said they interviewed very well, but unfortunately they had a couple of other candidates. So I've had to say that to my wife and my friend before. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing is you're going to have to, as a recruiter, decline people. You have to be able to give that news because you can't give that false hope. You can't say, well, maybe in the future. No, the only thing you can say is if anything else comes up, I'll let you know, which is true. It just typically there's a 3-week freshness on that. Had a call with a staffing recruiter who said it put me through, but chances wouldn't be accepted since startup wanted someone with experience. Yeah, and that's fine. I might be speaking with people and I will be like, see, that's great. It's like, hey, I will be perfectly honest. I don't think this is what the client needs. I can still put you through. Probably won't work. That's okay. I've actually made a placement or 2 based on that. I wish all recruiters were straightforward like you. I do too, honestly. It would make finding a job easier. Worst experience I had as a recruiter get me guessing. Yeah. So like, obviously I think the worst thing someone can do is like professionally lie to you and like gaslight you. But I really think that like, okay, so people get upset about ghosting, which is fair. But recruiters cannot always control ghosting. I wish it was the case. It's not always the case. But what we can control is hope. And I really think recruiters should be the reapers of hope. We should not let you think you have a chance when you don't. And I will say that I've had candidates beg me for it too. They're like, so what do you think I'm going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I say, look, it's a good shot, but it's not guaranteed. I will let you know, even while I know they are drafting the offer letter. Because sometimes, even when you're drafting the offer letter, one time we were drafting the offer letter and we found out they weren't approved for the role and the manager didn't realize it. So we had to go back and then actually get approved for the role, which we were able to hire them, thank goodness. But you can't promise anything as a recruiter. And I wish you could. And I feel like that is a very clear line is you can never give false hope. Because that is, to me, the worst thing a recruiter does. Because no matter how busy you are, no matter whatever you're doing, you have enough bandwidth to not give false hope. Because giving a lie is the same amount of time. So I will tell candidates flat out like, hey, I don't know. I'm not the decision maker, but I will send it. So, all right. See you, Uber. Have a good time. So yeah, Hamza, typically this is not the type of leadership I would be looking for. Typically when they mean leadership, they're looking for managing people. So this is a phenomenal IC resume, but not phenomenal. It has, I can tell you're probably good. Just we need to fix it so you can interview. So what other questions do you have about this? Let me know. My brain is not braining today. Stretched. All right, let me see. I think someone moved my meeting with them, so let me make sure it was not too earlier. No. It was later? Okay, that's fine. I can do that. Yeah, let me know if there's anything else, but the very short end of this is it's too overly complicated and I can't really find the keywords, but you really need to make this for the layman. Should I remove this data lab experience entirely? No. Excuse me. And partly the reason for that is it shows that you were there for over a year. Okay, so here's where we get a little bit weird was this an internship? Because you want to make sure you have more jobs than years, and you're kind of don't. Now, internships don't count for that, so I want to make sure, was this an internship? Because if you just change this to instead of summer analyst, just put like intern or something, it could be, but like business analyst, because yeah, it's also the work experience, because it might just be contracts, but yeah. Oh, okay, so don't do summer analyst, just do internship. And then if this was an intern, do intern. I assume you did one in your master's and the others in the bachelor's, which makes sense. Yeah, that timeline. So yeah, change this to intern, because interns are expected at 3 months. Otherwise, it looks bad. One of my most annoying non-hired ones is where the HR guy talked to me about a disaster they had casually, and the interviewer walked me around the office. Ugh. Typically, when you walk around the office, it's a good shot of getting the job, but I've definitely seen people fail that. Just because, like, so there's also the part of, I have had some people try and do the walk around the office before the final decision. And I've had to sort of say, like, hey, you don't want to meet them to the team before that is the last check. Now, there is possible to fail the team meet because it's a vibe check. And every once in a while you get someone who's just very rude. But it isn't good to have from a recruitment standpoint, to start basically that should be the very final thing. Like, you should have already decided on a candidate, and instead of say like not a background check, instead of like reference check, then you walk around. So I'm not a fan of the walk around anywhere before this is the candidate you were going to pick. This is just the absolute last minute check. So I had to fly into Boston for a final round interview. Ugh. They didn't pay you? I would not fly out unless they paid you. I've had to do those where we flew people out. We paid and we comped. I would never go to an interview where I had to essentially pay that money. Always mess up the behavioral part, more freezing up. So like in the behavioral part, I think people freak out because they think you need to be Mr. Cool or Madam Awesome. But really what it is they just want to know that they can work 40 hours a week with you, right? And you're interviewing them too. And I think that's very important, especially at that stage, is these are going to be your coworkers. This is going to be Bob, who you need to know, do they microwave fish? This is Jill. Does Jill listen to music without her headphones? We don't know. These are the questions to find out. So the behavioral part is that's what they're finding out. And I'm sure most people have been in an office and they found like, oh, that coworker, you can't get away from them. That's what they're trying to check to make sure you're not that coworker. And you need to check to make sure they're not that coworker too. The guy they picked over me quit within a week and they came crawling back. Had an offer to negotiate. Yeah, nice. And I will say, typically when it's between like two candidates like that, it's rarely going to be like like one is better than the other. It's seriously usually like this person has used Java for a singular month longer than the other person. It's real tight at that level. A lot of the times they would be happy to hire both. And I have actually been on conversation with the managers like, I really wish I could hire both of them. If I have to choose, I'm choosing X because they are barely better than the other. So typically being number 2 usually means you would have passed. It's just, again, it's on a bell curve. How many bullet points per experience is too much? I'd say no more than 8. And do you have to ensure that the resume is fully one page? It can be less. It's okay to be less. Again, the most important part of your resume is this right here. What you see on screen is the most important. So I guess like the first, maybe not the first half, maybe the first 3/4, but I don't want to deal with fractions. People already get problems with fractions. So the first half of your resume is the most important. Why? Why does my nose itch so much? Give me a second. Oh my gosh. Do I need like mustache gel now? I was in that situation where they chose another candidate. Yeah, again, I would not freak out. Like, if they chose another candidate, it really doesn't say on your experience. Like, what, and this is not just something I like say, people. I think it's very true. The final rounds are usually decided by practically anything. Like, if I interviewed for somebody, it could be the difference because I worked with ADP that transitioned. I had an ADP to Workday transition, while the other person just had Workday and ADP, but not a transition. And that was the only qualifier. There's rarely any big changeable metric you can do. If you make it to the final, you have succeeded. It's just there's a lot of competition now, so people are making it to the final, and there's a lot of highly qualified people, and they're not used to that, which isn't great, but it's good for companies, not really good for everybody else, including recruiters. But yeah, it's the last round is barely any changes. It's so thin, that line. Do you need anything else, Hamza, specifically for your resume? But again, remember, it's just too complicated and it doesn't have enough keywords because you are the subject matter expert. So also fix the formatting, turn this to intern, make it simplified. Anything else you need on this before I move to the next one? Cool. Yeah, no worries. It's just, remember, we have 15 seconds. 15 seconds to look at it. Which is why you can't really brag in 15 seconds. That's why I'm not a huge fan of the bragging, is because it's... I want you, and I've used this metaphor before, think of it like a governmental form, right? You've been to the DMV. The recruiter is the DMV clerk who has a line outside the door. They don't care about all this stuff. They just want to know that you check those boxes. Now, the interview, that is where you brag. The interview is where you do these things, and you show that you're an absolute badass. That's what you do for the interview. Not necessarily for the resume. They can be on the resume, but not always. Sales is the exception. Mr. Leetastic, that's helpful to know, since curious why I was second. But no, yeah, it's... I've had a lot of people ask that, and my canned response is it's usually some niche skill, but that's kind of the truth. Unless you, like, insult people, which I have had happen, but that's very rare, it's usually down to some very small thing that you can't change, and if it was any other time, you also would have been chosen. Should I follow up on that if they're telling me they're deciding between me and McKinney? Like, oh, that's great, forgot to mention. Maybe... I would say, is there anything else you need to know about my skills that I may have not mentioned? But realistically, at that point, it's... Excuse me. Again, it's based on your competition as well. So... I hate my acid reflux. I go through so many Tums. So... because it's in the... excuse me, interview. Wow, I sound like... I hate this. In the interview, they would be able to find that stuff out. But, like, sending it in a message, maybe. Like, I don't know if that would really help or not. Because usually, again, those decisions are already made. Because they're like, yeah, we worked... Or alternatively, it's like, Bob worked at our biggest competitor while... Bob 2.0 worked at a good company, but not a direct competitor. So maybe they'll pull from the direct competitor. It's real. That's why I want people to do the 1 in 50 so that they can keep getting interviews, so that you can have multiple offers. Because you can't control everything about the job search. Like, realistically, you can probably only control about 30 to 40% of it, which is how many applications you send, how you do in the first couple of interviews, how you structure your resume. But it could be you are the best candidate ever, and their budget gets pulled right when they're about to do the offer. So don't freak out. If you, I will say, making it to the final round, even though it may not feel like it, count that as a win. Making it to the final round is a win. In fact, even on, like, agency roles, we kind of judge it based on how many, like, interviews we get them, not necessarily the success, because we can't really control that. So, we can't really control the success of the interview, and the candidate can't to a degree either. So there's a limit to what we count as it. All right, this person is a sales dev rep. I'm gonna skip that one for now because I don't want to spend most of the, like, we're not gonna do a ton left, and I don't want to spend that on a brain. On looking it up. Wow. Okay, we're gonna do another data analyst, actually. Okay, data analyst in, mainly because I don't want to spend more time on LinkedIn. This is the 4th. Okay, they doxed themselves, so give me a second. Blah. Okay, there we go. Oh, the Java full stack might be yours. Oh, okay, then we'll do that one. Then never mind. You did dox yourself, but give me a second to make sure you don't, if that is the case. Java full stack was 1353. Okay, yeah, you fully doxed yourself. If this is you. Professional experience, I'm just making sure there's nothing else. If that is you. Is this you? Okay, yeah, then no worries. Well, let's see. It's a Java full stack. It's already up. Java full stack, would that be so much different than, I mean, I know it would be a combo, so you'd need a little bit more tools, but because these are full stack with Java, I guess it might be. So a Java full stack developer. You know what? Props, because they didn't combine this. Oh, you sent yours on Sunday? Oh, yeah. That will be in a little bit then. Yeah, but this person, like, fully doxed themselves. Oh, wrong button. All right, so let's see what these keywords are that are different. I'm honestly kind of assuming it's just going to be a Java engineer with a little bit of full stack, but I might be wrong about that. Let's see. All right, so Java, full stack, industry, blah, blah, blah. I can't do that. So Java, string, Angular. Do I have Angular? I don't. Should add Angular. Angular. Understanding of based applications. Bro, these applications are based. Okay, Docker, Kubernetes. Do I have Kubernetes? Docker, Kubernetes. Docker, Kubernetes. I mean, this is not going to be here. So, let's see. SQL, that's fine. These are new. All right, software engineer, Java full stack. To ensure you'll bring them. Just say qualifications. Just say qualifications. I wish they would just say qualifications. I don't like when companies do this. I'm not a fan of that. I want them to actually just say the full, just say qualifications. Like, companies complicate too, is they try to get all fancy with it. So Java, Spring Boot, SQL. Actually, I don't know NoSQL. This is the second time I've seen NoSQL specified. This might be a case where you actually do in fact need two different ones, but it does say relational. So, which I don't know why I said that. I don't know what that means. Don't try to think you're better than you are, Lee. You don't know nothing about that. Nothing know-how. And React. Let's see, specifically full stack Java, React, just full stack developer. Would that have the same keywords? Kind of. Java. Java's named after the coffee, right? I'm not crazy. Like, it's originally named after the coffee. Okay, JavaScript, TypeScript. Okay, CI/CD. CI/CD, IAC, which is infrastructure as code, DevOps. I saw a couple of DevOps. JavaScript, TypeScript, Java, Go. I mean, obviously Java. Kubernetes, senior full stack. Software engineer full stack, because this is not necessarily Java. This could just be a regular full stack. I want specifically Java full stack developers. I mean, regardless, this is not a good resume, but yes, its logo is a coffee cup. Okay, good. I knew I remembered that. That was I shouldn't have known that. That's on me. Okay. Bad job description. Java full stack. Give me a good job description. Give me a good job description. I am Bane. This is my Bane voice. I still think the Harley Quinn show had the best description of Bane ever. I think that was amazing. 6 years Java. Java, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, GitHub, everything Azure, Cloud, relational databases, JSON, REST, React, Spring Boot, Azure. I think these are close to it. Originally it was Oak. I'm okay with them changing that. Do you know why Java developers wear glasses? Because they can't see shit. I actually really like that one. Oh, I really like that one. That was a good one. Oh, I like that one. That was a good one. All right, I may actually have to steal that. That is now an original stolen joke. CI/CD, DevOps, Docker, Kubernetes, Cloud, Architecture. What am I missing? I was missing one thing, and I don't remember what it was. You made me laugh too much. Git. Java developers wear glasses because they can't see sharp. MySQL, SQL, Spring Boot, Angular. Did I have Angular up on this list? I do. I think this is close enough to have it. We have Git and Agile. All right. So this person, again, fully docs themselves, so we're not showing anything above this. This is all we can see. And I do need to put education. There we go. Okay. They are in France. Okay, that's neat. I don't know France. They said, I've been looking for a job for 6 months. I'm currently unemployed, but not specifying that my resume because recruiters ignore people without a job. Please don't show my name. Aha. I'm not, but don't put it on there then. Stop making it harder for me. I want to make it harder for me to not dox you. All right. This is a Java full stack developer. Now, admittedly, this developer is in France, and I could not read the job postings in France to get the keywords because I do not speak it. So we had to look at the keywords in the United States, so hopefully they're equivalent. What we're going to be looking for is Java, Spring, Spring Boot, Angular, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, TypeScript, SQL. Those are arguably the most important ones. So everything else past this, I would say we don't need all of, but you definitely need those. Also, a lot of them specify NoSQL instead of SQL, but if you have any of the SQLs, it should still be okay. Then we need RESTful APIs. Microservices are huge. CI/CD, IAC, which is infrastructure as code. DevOps, Docker, Kubernetes, Cloud. Cloud is great. Git and Agile, and then your education. So this person says they've been on the lookout for a job for about 6 months. They're currently unemployed, but they're not specifying that in my resume because recruiters ignore people without a job. That's not actually true. While some recruiters do, obviously people are gonna people. Most don't. And if you get hired and it says present and they see that you were lying on your resume, you could lose your job that you just got. So don't do that. Put when you got left. If you're like a month off, it's not a problem. But if you're 6 months off, you may lose the offer that you got in the background check. Now, admittedly, I don't know enough about French background checks, so maybe they don't check that. I don't know. I've not recruited in France. So But yeah, please put your actual dates, because you don't want to get an offer and then lose it because you lied about the dates when the dates aren't that important. Seriously, candidates vastly overestimate how powerful a gap is. It's not really that powerful. Like, we don't really care that much. Once it gets to like 2 to 3 years is when it gets a problem. But if it's under a 2-year gap, just leave it there. You're going to make it worse. So I can't scroll up because this person fully doxed themselves. So this is the only thing I can show you. Formatting's not great. It's not the worst, but it's not good. Again, I want it to look like this. TOL and internal dedicated security. Again, there's nothing here. I don't care about a mission. Project TOL. Writing detailed for RESTful APIs. There we go. That's something I need. So yeah, there's nothing here I need besides RESTful APIs. You can't just say this. I need to see how you did it. You did get some of these correct though, and I think the fact that you have struggling to get interviews shows that this is not working. So formatting, fix this. I need to know how you use Java, how you use Spring, how you used REST, how you used Agile, how you used HTML, CSS, and JS. Doesn't have to be crazy. Just like created a front end using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and a back end using Java, which allowed us to do X. Also, do not abbreviate JS as Java. Do not abbreviate JavaScript as JS. You can have Angular JS, you can have a Node.js, but never just do JS because the recruiter may not realize it. So you need this stuff here. Developed a new search mail functions with the application. Refactor code base. I'm not looking for any of this. This is not what I'm looking for. Implement CI/CD, good. Deployed and managed Docker containers orchestrated with Kubernetes on AWS. This right here, this is a good sentence. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. This right here is how I want you to write everything else, because this is a near perfect sentence. Deployed and managed Docker containers, which can be a keyword. I don't know if I put it down, but I saw it in a couple. Orchestrated with Kubernetes on AWS, which is cloud. So that's what I need. I need you to write the rest of it like that. I need these things there. Although admittedly, maybe it's different in France. I can't read that. So also your education should be up at the top. So remember, education up here. Do not lie about your dates. Otherwise, it's not a big deal until you get an offer and you fail the background check. And then you would have gotten the offer anyway, so you just hurt yourself. Please do not do that. Then describe your duties in such that a 12-year-old can understand, and then write the rest of your bullet points like this. This is what I'm going to looking for. But yes, this resume definitely is not good. There is a reason it is not succeeding. Did you tell me its ratio? You did not. You just saying you've been looking for that. So yeah. So please do not lie about your dates. It's going to hurt you. Nothing's worse than seeing a fantastic resume and you put it in and then they get declined in the background check because they lied about the dates. And then when you look at the resume, what they lied about didn't actually matter, but it mattered that they lied in the first place, and that you would have gotten them the job if they just told the truth in the first place, because the rest of the resume was great. Now, admittedly, the rest of the resume is not good, but the gaps are not the issue here. So fix that, fix the formatting, fix the bullet points. Honestly, probably just have to start all over from scratch and write the rest of your sentences like this. This is actually how I want you to write your sentences. This is a good bullet point. Do the rest of it. So, next resume. Yeah, it's just, like, gaps are not that big a deal. I like, they can be a deal, but, like, candidates really think the gap is way more powerful and impactful on their resume than it actually is. So 135.1. 135.1. Okay. Right, that's what I did. Oh my gosh, my brain. Okay, so no, Bree. I messed up my own name. I called myself Bree. Okay, let me make sure I didn't screw this up. Hold on. I hope I didn't give the wrong one. Okay, no, I didn't. Okay, because I'm doing this slightly out of order, and that's a good way to mess up your formatting. So, there we go. I call myself Bree. I didn't even say my own name right. I think the most embarrassing one, though, was when I forgot the word for job. I have the worst word recall ever. Should I submit my resume to you in this format to review instead of my resume now? It's up to you. Truthfully, You can do both. Submit it now, and then in a week later, when you fix up the formatting, submit it then. Because, I mean, it's content. Also, welcome, Veradian. Welcome. So, you know, if you submit it, I will review it. I can't really judge whether it was the first or the not one. Whatever is most helpful to you. Also, Ink, why was its original name Oak? Why was Java's original name Oak? But yeah, it's up to you. Give me a second. This next person, I have like 3 people in a row that dox themselves. So let me make sure this person is not doxed. And then we have a very quick commercial break. And then we will do this resume. Okay, there we go. But yeah, because sometimes people submit their old resume even before they changed it. And they still get some use out of it. So it's up to you. But welcome, welcome. You can ask me any other question. I just do the resume specific ones when it's the time for it. So trademark was already taken. Oh, did Pokemon take it? Professor Oak. Data analyst. Data analyst, not business analyst, even though weirdly enough, business analyst looks good if you show data analyst. I don't know, but for Java, Java is a for-profit. What does a for-profit language mean? I actually don't know about like why some of them charge and how they do and stuff. Again, I am very much at the peripheral of this like thing, so this resume is gonna make me cry though. Okay, so we have an ad in like a second or a minute. I'm gonna be right back after that. Just started searching. I'm looking for data analyst, data engineer roles in Canada. No, I have to look up the keywords because I don't know what they are in Canada. Curse you, Canada. You have forsaken me. Okay, so this is data analyst, right? Let me make sure. They said data analyst. Okay, so data analyst in Canada. AFK Oracle charges the updates in Java used everywhere. Okay, so they kind of control. So Java's not just like something you could just pop out. There's like a math to it or something, right? Okay, so preferred SQL, Power BI, Jupyter. Okay, the rest of this is correct though. Data analyst, bring your vibe. Oh man, perks playlist, how you'll create. This is not a good job description. So I have 2 roles I'm looking for. Submit the one you want the most. That's the one thing I don't want people to do is submit 2 at the same time because it can clog it up. So pick one, and then like 3 or 4 days later, submit the next one. Oracle. Oh, if they're acting like a drug dealer, get companies hooked and then max up the price. Oh my gosh. There's a lawsuit from Oracle who owns Java and Google. Interesting. And Oracle owns the official version of Java, but there's an open source. Okay. I don't think Java's profit. It's owned by Oracle, which profit. There's a lot here. I know people get upset about like there's like language wars between coders, and I'm like I have no idea what any of this means. Everyone prefers Java development kit to databases beside. Okay, so that's weird, but interesting. SQL, Excel. SQL. Now I have that up there, Lee. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. Nothing like techie drama top of techie language, right? Yeah, techie drama is so interesting to me because I don't know any of it. It's just 2 people going grr, 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 grr. All right, I will be right back. Bear. We're not all going to be in the same room. I know, I love you. We're not all going to be in the same room. Oh, you got an itch? Okay, good scritchy scratch. There's a huge issue with Rust. Oh, man. Not familiar with Java. There's some clause in it, like it's for Unity or make less than X amount. Yeah, I didn't know any of this stuff. Also, my dog is waiting for my... So, we have a friend staying with us right now, and Bear is such a weird dog in that he likes everybody to be in the same room. So now he's staring outside the door, waiting for my friend to come in so we could be in the same room. And it's like, that's not how that works, buddy. I think Oracle, you can license it. Okay. Yeah, let's keep it going. This stuff is interesting to me. I don't know any of this stuff. So, but you do want to make sure this is correct, which it looks like it's correct. Looker. Oh, you know what? Looker might be one that we need to add for Canada. Looker was a little new. Data scientist, data analyst, Office 365, Word and Excel, AMS bullet points, Office 365. Geez, they really want somebody with Office 365, don't they? Real estate, Excel, Office applications. Yeah, this is about what I expected. A little bit more 365 than I thought, but let's see if that continues. So data analyst for senior data analyst. This is a nightmare of a job description. No, this is a pretty good job description. I actually like this. Epic Corner Software. Jeez Louise. Okay. Okay, no, that's not very good. IT data analyst. Okay. SQL, MS Access, Microsoft. Well, it could count as that. Experience reporting Java, Finance, MS Excel, MS Access. I really want MS Access. I would say like Microsoft. So Microsoft, and then we're gonna Access, Outlook, Suites. Canada apparently uses a lot of Microsoft Outlook and stuff. Power BI, SQL, Python. This is mostly correct. Yeah, I think this is good. I did not see AI, and I did not actually see Jira. So, I don't think I saw R either. Let me look at one more just to make sure I'm accurate, because you really need these to be right. If they're not, it could mess somebody's whole search up. So, same thing goes with JavaScript and Oracle, and there's a plea to give away the trademark. Huh. Oh, yeah, because they would own the trademark, huh? And they couldn't, like... Ooh, that's interesting. There's some drama. I don't actually know what the recruitment drama is. The recruitment drama is just we get everybody trying to offer us AI tools, and we're like, they're bad. Stop. Please. This is MS Office. There we go. Jira. All right. Actually, Jira was a little bit important. So that is it. And then Python and R. Okay. So now I can actually review this. Keywords are the most important part. I always want to make sure I get them right, because if I get them wrong, it could screw up a whole person's search. So, this is an abomination. Alright, what did this person say? Just started my search. Okay. This is a data analyst resume in Canada. So, the keywords between the US and Canada for data analysts are mostly the same. But I had to update the list a little bit. So we're going to look for SQL, Excel, Tableau, Power BI, Python, R, that you are a subject matter expert, that you've used data visualizations. Looker Studios is more Canada-based, apparently. I have no idea why, but it is. ETL, talk to stakeholders. ETL is extract, transform, and load, I think. And then solve issues with data. And very much in a lot of Canadian job descriptions, Microsoft Access, Outlook, and Suites. And Jira. So seriously, you actually do need these. They're in a ton of job descriptions in Canada for some reason. So this person's ratio is, we don't know. They just started searching, and they're looking for data analyst jobs. So first off, this is a nightmare of a resume. When people talk about bad formatting, this is why. There is so much here that I'm not going to be able to find what I need. And I challenge people to take 10 seconds to find those keywords here. Don't bold them either, because it's bad. And again, they can't be here. So their eyes are going to go to here, and then they're going to go down, and then they're going to find nothing. So this is a nightmare that hurts me to read, and I'm not trying to be mean, but there is a reason that my formatting is the way it is, which I got rid of on another tab for some reason, but please use my formatting down below. Make it simple, make it clean, make it clear, and you do not need a summary. You also don't need a skills section. So let's see if we can try and find what we're looking for. So automated volunteer plus 87. Why would you bold 87? Stop bolding. Anything under the work experience should not be bolded. You do not need anything bolded here. Using a Python API. So Python is good. PostSQL, okay. And reducing manual work and ensuring consistent voters. Integrated a DNC tracking page. Dashboard is okay. Using Python, good. And SQL. Again, we only have Python and SQL. Python and SQL. Python and SQL. SQL. Look, those are keywords, but you don't need all of these. I want to be clear. People don't need all the keywords. You don't have to meet a job 100%. People think you have to meet 100%. You don't. It's usually about 75%. Honestly, sometimes it's 50%. But right now, the only thing I've seen, and this entire thing, which means half this, is just SQL and Python. It's good to have. You don't want that to be the only thing there. And again, your education should be up top. That is pretty important. So let's look below. Design and implement a center vendor. Again, I don't care about provisioning time. The purpose of a brag is to show that you can do it, and they need to be understandable to a layman, and these are not. Data framework. Again, SQL. Yeah, there's like nothing here. SQL. All right, so here's the problem. This entire thing, the only thing I found of this list is SQL and Python. That's it. Your entire first page is wasted. You need to redo all of this. What I need is SQL. Good. I also need Excel, Tableau, Power BI, Python, which you did have. It's okay to not have. Ideally, we'd have it. That you are a subject matter expert, that you have digital visualization, data visualizations, that you've used Looker Studios, that you have ETL, that you've talked to stakeholders, and that you've solved issues with data and have used Microsoft Access Outlook suites, including Word, PowerPoint, and Jira. Those were on the job descriptions. You cannot not have those. That is why you're getting rejected, is you don't have any of those. There's nothing in this resume I would need. Because remember, I don't care about this. You cannot have a skills section. I'm sorry. I don't know who keeps perpetrating this myth, but you don't need a summary, and a skills section isn't needed because your bullet points need to be here or they don't count. And if your bullet points and your keywords are in those, then you don't need a skills section because it's irrelevant. So either at best, it's superfluous. At worst, it's actively harming you. So please redo everything. I wish I didn't have to say that, but this is what we're going to be looking for. You can check out the job descriptions. This is what they're looking for in Canada. For specifically a data analyst, they are looking for this. They are looking for Microsoft Access, Outlook, and Suites. I know that that's basic, but if it's basic and should be assumed that you have it, it needs to be in your resume twice. So let's go to the next resume. Okay. Found Python and SQL, right? I'm trying to get a referral from a previous manager, and it's been a little over a week from hearing back. How long should I wait? Just follow up a little bit again in a week, because a week isn't a long time for managers. 134. No, 135? 1354. Okay, that was it. So yeah, it's not a huge amount of time, because remember, it's business days. Like, if it's a little over a week, give it like a week and a half to 2, and then say, hey X, just double checking to see if you were able to send that. I might have missed the email. I just want to make sure, is there anything else you need on my end so that you could get it? Because depending on their job, it could be a lot, right? Like, there is a manager time where they run on a different system than the rest of us. So it's like, what is it? Like, if it's critically important, it's going to get canceled. If it needs to be done now, it's a week and a half. If there's no words and they say please, it needs to be done immediately, or everything will break. So okay, so that's good. 134. Okay, 134. All right, and then I have 2 screenings I need to do today, and I need a break before them. So that'll be it for this stream. I will be back on Friday at 11 a.m. PST. And let's go raid another channel because it is beneficial to everybody, and I like raiding. I think it's cool and it's fun, and we get to go wahahaha like Wario. But yeah, I will be back. Thank you all for joining me. If you want to get any last minute questions, I will try and answer them real quick, but I need to rest my voice for the next 2 stuff that I need to do because there's a lot that I need to do today. So I will see everybody on Brain stops working Friday. Jeez Louise, yeah, Friday. That is when I will be meeting. So I will see everybody on Friday. Oh, you know what? Nan Codes just got her interview, and I rated her. Let's go raid Non-Codes. Let's see how her interview went. So we're gonna raid her. I hope it went well. She is awesome. My brain is tired. So I will see you all on Friday. And 3, 2, 1, bye.